Off the Shelf Reviews. It's episode 2 of the podcast.
Yay!
Of course, I'm Gary.
And I'm Ian.
And Ian, what have you been up to?
I have been up to just work, games, and editing films.
Yeah.
It's just been such a slog. You know, people don't realise how much we obviously do, other than the reviews. I've been trying the game. At the moment, I'm still getting through Dishonored 2. I've set myself the task.
Well, I know you'd at least finished it once.
I had finished it once. I'd done my playthrough with Corvo. You know, I hadn't bothered, trying to do it completely stealth all the way through. I just wanted to play it through and enjoy the story. So I did that. And then, it was a case of either go for the achievement of not being spotted and no powers, or playing through the game and ending it on high chaos, because I ended it on low chaos on my first playthrough. Playing it through on high chaos, well, I'm just murdering everybody, if I'm honest.
So you're having fun with it still.
You say having fun. It's not really that fun when you are powered up to max, because it's a new game plus. So I've got all the runes that I finished the last playthrough with at the start of the game.
Okay.
So then I slam that into all the abilities that I want. Then I make my way through the rest of the levels, collecting all the extra runes and bone charms so that I can make more, which is powering me up to fucking buggery. That I start a level, I'll find the marker where the runes are, and then I'll just go out. Oh, look, there's a guard. Okay, I'll jump up there, come down, stab him in the face. Oh, look, there comes his mate. Throw a grenade at him. Now 5 guys are all coming at me. I ain't bothered about not being spotted. I'll just whip out my sword, do a couple of dodges here and there, a couple of quick kills here and there, and before I know it, they're just in bits around me, and I'm moving to the next section.
Awesome.
That's it. I kind of want to... I'm kind of just wanting to get it completed so that I can go back to stealth mode, so that I can go back to being patient and listening to the story and being engrossed by it. And then at the same time, I'm just kind of wanting to knock it out the way so I can start Dark Souls 3 and XCOM 2.
Well, speaking of Dark Souls, and I keep bringing up Dark Souls, I've been talking about Dark Souls a lot lately, and, well, I'm just going to let everyone listening know that during this first section, me and Ian are just going to catch up on the latest films and TV and games that we've been playing when we've not been preparing for, a film review or a game review. That's the stuff we sort of play to relax. Before we get into the latest news and film trailers that we've gorged ourselves on.
Yes.
Then we'll get into the theme of this podcast, which is going to be board games. And of course, we'll finish the podcast answering questions that were given to us by our subscribers and viewers from the first podcast.
Yes.
So, as you mentioned it, Dark Souls. I finished Dark Souls 3. I finished Dark Souls 3 New Game Plus.
Yeah, plus.
Well, I've not got that far yet.
Oh, right, okay,
I just started a new character and played that again and got to New Game Plus.
Yes.
And then got somebody else into Dark Souls and helping them through their first game. And of course, I'm hoping you get Dark Souls 3 soon so that I can play it all over again.
I've got to do Dishonored 2 first and then I'll get the Dark Souls.
I've gone back to Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 came out at the end of the Xbox 360's life cycle. At that point, I remember it distinctly. It came out the same day as Titanfall. And I was Xbox One, day one purchase. I got Titanfall and Dark Souls 2 the same day. I came back. I played Titanfall and the game crashed on me. I got kicked out of the servers. I also
Day one,
yes, it was I had a really bad time with it. It turned out that I ended up with a strict NAT setting, which caused a lot of the problems. I ended up having to go in and sort out the MAC address and sort everything else out to get a secure netcode for my Xbox in order to play the game. But because that took so long, it was so trickety because I'd moved into this house with a couple of friends, so we had PCs connected to the Wi-Fi, a PlayStation, another PC, my Xbox, all of our mobile phones. So, lots of internet connections. But Dark Souls 2, I played it on the 360 and loved it. And now they've re-released it. It's backwards compatible. And all the DLCs there. So I'm playing Scholar of the First Sin. I've just completed it. I'm about to do some of the DLC, and I just love Dark Souls. I've said it in the Dark Souls 3 review that the Dark Souls games, so long as they keep to their promise and say Dark Souls 3 is the last of the Soul series, then the 3 Souls games can just sit on that pedestal of being almost timeless. You can go back to it any time, and And amazingly, there are still players on Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
Even in the later stages of the game, even in the DLC areas, and it blows my mind that there's still such a vibrant community for it. And it just puts those games up there for me.
You say that. The funny thing is, I've still got Dark Souls 1 digital on the Xbox 360. So Dylan's got the Xbox 360 in his bedroom and he's playing Portal and Plants vs. Zombies. But every now and again, I'll just go to the arcade menu, load up Dark Souls 1, and then just pick one of my random characters and be like, oh, where am I? And oh, look, I'm at the bonfire in Anor Londo. I don't want to be at Anor Londo. I need to go all the way over here and do that and get this. Oh, I've just fucking died again. I've just lost like 98,000 souls. Oh, why the fuck did I turn this game back on? Like you said, Dark Souls 2 came out. I did Dark Souls 2 and it was so easy compared to the first one.
Everyone has said the Dark Souls 2 is the easiest. But
yes.
I also challenge you to play some of Dark Souls 2's DLC, which is very tricky and offers an interesting challenge.
That's a good challenge, but for me, completing the game was just enough. I knew there was DLC out there, but it wasn't enough to make me go, yeah, okay, I'll go back and I'll do all that extra stuff. I went through the game. I got all I think the only two bosses in that game I didn't kill. And that was the king,
giant dragon and the king,
the giant dragon.
Yeah.
You go to the king, and it's just like you're not doing any damage to him. You can't even get his attention if you attack him. You have to go get the giant souls to bring his defenses down 25% each.
Yeah,
and then go fight him. And even then, he's a fucking bastard anyway. You have to be quick on your toes because even though he walks around like a shambling, rotten zombie, he swings that sword like...
You're going to know about it.
Yeah. And then you've got that giant dragon who just kind of sits there on that ledge.
Yeah.
And you kind of come out and you're thinking to yourself, I can take you. And then you get closer and closer and he's getting bigger and bigger and you're like, maybe I'll just...
Come back 10 levels later.
Yeah, because you look like you could eat me in like one hit.
Yeah. So I haven't been playing much else, just totally intoxicated with Dark Souls at the moment. So I did have to sort of cleanse my palate, if you will, after playing Souls. And so I watched The Jungle Book, the 2016 version, the Jon Favreau directed film.
Yeah.
It has Bill Murray playing Baloo the bear.
Nice.
And Ben Kingsley doing one of the voices. We had Idris Elba doing Shere Khan.
Nice.
Scarlett Johansson doing the snake.
Oh.
I think it's Kaa? I can't
remember. I
think so, yeah. And I've got to say, Jungle Book means a hell of a lot to me.
Okay.
It's the very first film I ever remember watching, but it was definitely the very first film I ever saw in the Odeon cinema.
Yeah.
So it was my very first cinema experience, and so it is the youngest or the oldest memory I have of watching a film.
Yeah.
So The Jungle Book means that much to me. And I haven't revisited The Jungle Book since I was a child. I've never needed to. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's inherent in my love of film. So Jon Favreau, I enjoy his movies.
Iron Man.
Iron Man was that was one of the films that broke the mold and just went, superhero movies have evolved and changed somewhat.
Yeah.
More about superhero movies later. But I totally was engrossed in it. It was obviously the main actor, the child actor who plays Mowgli, did a terrific job considering everything else. I've not looked into the making of the film, but everything else was just CGI. Just all digitally animated.
Yeah.
But it wasn't obviously cartoon like Jungle Book. It was all like Pixar animations.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
The orangutan looked pretty sweet from the trailer.
I've forgotten the name of the voice actor. It's
that guy.
That guy.
That guy.
Oh no, he's a great guy. He's a great actor.
Oh
my god!
From that film, I love that film.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you know what I'm talking about. But they cut out a lot of the musical numbers, but they still kept in the King of the Jungle, the King Louis song.
Yeah.
But it was sweet. The film actually almost brought tears to my eye.
Wow.
That they did it so well.
Yeah.
And so I had to mention it.
It looked like a film I wanted to buy just because it's the Jungle Book.
I think
it's the Jungle Book. You can't go wrong with a Sunday afternoon. You've just had a big roast dinner. You're sitting down to relax. Hey, what do we watch? We'll watch The Jungle Book. Even if you watch the Walt Disney one, you just kind of fall back into a childish nature. The songs come on. You're loving the relationship between Mowgli and Baloo.
Christopher Walken.
Ah, that guy.
That guy.
You've been saying it the whole time I've been talking. You've just been like, to Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Which character did he do?
I'm just trying to save like 20 comments in the comment section saying Christopher Walken. He did King Louis.
Nice.
So he also did the singing as well, which was cool.
Pretty awesome.
But so after watching the Jungle Book, I IMDb Jungle Book, and interestingly, 2 results came up.
Okay.
There is another Jungle Book that has been filmed and finished,
Right.
but it's Warner Brothers, not Disney, that have the rights, and Disney released their Jungle Book. So Warner Brothers went, whoa, we're not going to release ours yet. We're actually not going to release it until 2018. So
is it live action as well?
It's live action as well, and partially animated, and even Christian Bale has got a voice in there.
Is he swearing, telling people to fuck off?
I don't think it's going to be an 18-rated Jungle Book, no. But I was surprised that another one was made simultaneously, but I laughed that they've withheld releasing it so that they didn't want to coincide with Disney's Jungle Book.
Yeah.
So Disney are releasing Jungle Book 2 in 2018. So we're going to have Jungle Book and Jungle Book 2.
Yeah, but how the fuck do you make
year?
a Jungle Book 2? I actually own on DVD.
There are continuing stories of the Jungle Book from the original book.
I know, on DVD I've got Jungle Book 2, Mowgli Returns or something.
Yeah.
Somebody decided that they were going to buy me the Jungle Book and then realised it was Jungle Book 2. I've never watched it because I'm like, for me the Jungle Book is one story and then it ends. I think it ends with Mowgli.
Yeah, but how many of the other Disney properties? How many Lion Kings are there? How many Little Mermaids
I don't watch any of those because
I learned
they just seem cash-ins.
Land Before Time, way back when. They're not even Disney films.
Yeah.
But it was just, you just knew that the quality of those movie sequels just plummeted massively.
Yeah, they're trying to cash in on the emotions that you garnered from the first one, but it just doesn't carry over well enough. And like we said, with Land Before Time, those get more and more childish.
Yeah.
You're not going to watch Land Before Time 9. You're actually going to stick it on for a 3-month-old and just hope that the colours catch them.
So I also watched Sully, Miracle on the Hudson.
Tom Hanks,
and Aaron Eckhart,
nice,
who does a really good supporting. He's a great supporting actor in that film. But I didn't realise until the film finished that it was actually directed by Clint Eastwood as well.
Oh,
and
nice.
I've kind of been hit and miss with Clint Eastwood directed films. Sometimes I've gone, he is, say what you will about his acting, he is a legend.
Yes.
But some of his films I've sat through and I'm like, that kind of trudged along.
Which
it was kind
one
of
did
like
you like?
Oscar season. I can't recall their names.
See, I love
Gran Torino was,
Gran Torino I really like.
Yeah.
Letters from Iwo Jima was awesome. Flags of Our Fathers.
That was the drag.
That was the drag one because I'd watched that one after Letters from Iwo Jima, and Letters from Iwo Jima was fucking breathtaking. The whole war sequences, the Japanese, them garnering
their
what was going on.
perspective. Yeah.
Then you get the Flags of Our Fathers. And you don't see any really of that. You see some of it, flashbacks and stuff, but it's more about these guys going around America, portraying. And I know that was part of the story.
Yeah.
He was trying to put across that, these guys had this whole emotional thing going on that they weren't happy with the position they'd been put in. But I felt that kind of took away something from all the heroism and the war aspect of Letters from Iwo Jima. Because, as an experienced war fan, it's not all sunshines and rainbows when it comes to war. Lots of people die, people get put in terrible situations. I'd have liked Flags of Our Fathers to have been an American perspective of Letters from Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
So the two of them kind of crisscrossed each other. That would have been cool.
Yeah. So Sully, I bawled my eyes out at the end. I never expected it to, but it's Tom Hanks, isn't it?
It's fucking Tom Hanks.
It's the Tom Hanks effect, where it's very rarely you'll catch Tom Hanks phoning it in. He just has that face where he can just be like, cry.
Yeah.
Audience cry.
Yeah.
And you just do.
Yeah.
It's like hardwired in.
Yeah, he just looks at the camera and just goes, cry. And you're like, oh my God, Tom Hanks. Why? And he's like, stop. You're like, oh, fuck.
I feel better now.
Yeah,
but it's good. I also thought the film was interesting in the way that it was paced that the film actually catches you off guard, and it starts off with a horrific plane crash.
Yeah,
Which is a nightmare.
Yeah, right, okay.
And so you're put into the mindset of a pilot on a plane that's going to crash from the get-go of the movie.
Yeah.
And it just puts you in that mindset of how much pressure is on a man with as many souls as they have in that shuttle in the air.
Yeah.
And the film is also a battle of, the insurance company basically trying to sue his ass for not killing everybody because they get all the money back if it's a fault but if it comes to a human error. And it was just a fascinating sort of watching the detective work, trying to figure out who was to fault, whether he could have done something different. And you just get the admiration of all those people that he saved. You also get to see the effect sort of over time as to the effect it has on someone who is responsible for this. Who starts to go crazy.
PTSD and all that shit.
Totally, yeah. So it was a very good film. I know it's Oscar bait, but I still enjoyed it.
Taking away the fact that Sully is obviously based on a true story.
Totally, yeah.
Which would you say is better? Would you say Tom Hanks as a pilot or Denzel Washington as a pilot?
No, I also enjoyed the Denzel Washington film where he was the alcoholic.
Yeah,
he drank so much that he was actually hot-wired and so focused on the task. I really enjoyed both of them, but if I had to choose, I would probably choose the Denzel Washington movie.
Denzel.
It was Denzel. I've got to say, that film was much more gripping. It was tighter.
Yeah.
And more thrilling, I guess, because of the character of Denzel. Where you're like, don't drink, don't do it.
Yeah.
You get behind him and he just, he lets you down. But he picks himself up. The struggle was real. I like that one.
I've just had a crazy off-the-ball idea. If Tom Hanks or Denzel Washington ever get a chance to listen to this, I'd like to see them record videos, right, where they act towards the camera and see which one of them can get the most emotional response from an audience.
Yeah.
Imagine a film with Denzel and Tom Hanks. Oh wait, that was Philadelphia. What am I talking about?
Yeah, you got it already.
And that film fucking makes you bawl your eyes out.
Oh my. So after Sully, I needed to cheer myself up, Ian. So I watched Bridesmaids.
Awesome. Awesome.
The film from 2011. It's 6 years old already.
Paul
Feig, director.
How, Gary? Because I've known you for such a long time. How the fuck did you get into a situation where your mind went, yes, let's watch Bridesmaids? What were you doing? How did you get to that point?
Well, I just needed something different. I tell you that it's like a weird lunar occurrence.
Were you on your own?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god!
I know.
I've seen Bridesmaids, but I couldn't.
You were forced by wife or
it was on, and we were looking for something relaxing to watch on TV, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, for men, I suppose it's The Hangover.
For me, it was the Kobayashi Maru, and it was can I watch this? Because I know that there are some films this year that have been requested that I have to watch.
Yeah.
And I am not happy about.
Oh, really?
Now, I don't know whether patrons have just figured out which button to press, which is going to instantly go, yeah, Gary's going to fucking shit when he sees what I've requested. And I do. Yeah. And I go, Ian, what do I do? Do I just go, yeah, thanks, but choose another one? No, I'm going to have to watch it. Now, Bridesmaids hasn't been selected.
Yeah.
Now, you could choose it all you want, but I wanted to watch it. Now, I am going to make a big confession.
Okie dokie.
I am a huge fan of Melissa McCarthy. And I watch all of her movies.
Man, I'm gonna so badly destroy you now on recording. We sat here like 6 or 8 months ago, just before Ghostbusters came out, and there was that big fucking hoo-ha about Ghostbusters, and I said to you about how I was looking forward to it.
Yes, I know.
Because secretly,
you're one of the weirdest people on the planet.
Because secretly, I'd seen Bridesmaids before, and I had enjoyed it. I'd enjoyed the Melissa McCarthy
Kristen
Wiig. I was looking forward to also, I think it's Hot Agent with Sandra Bullock, or the Hot Fuzz or something, where Melissa McCarthy and
Spy.
Sandra...
No, I saw the one where she is Jude Law. I think it
Right.
is Spy.
Yeah,
and
that's
she's
Spy,
sort of
yeah.
his agent who's
Yeah.
sort of on the comm looking after him.
And
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I kept watching this Melissa McCarthy stuff, and I was like, I'm really enjoying this. I want to see Ghostbusters, and you sat here wagging your finger at me like it's going to be so bad.
I knew we were going to end up talking about
And I'm just like,
Ghostbusters.
yeah, but the funny thing is, like I said, I bought Ghostbusters for my wife for Christmas. I sat down, I watched it, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because it was just so stupid. There were some parts I was just like, I really just want to turn this off, but I can't bring myself to it. You know? And then you bring up Bridesmaids, and
well,
you
that's
see
it. Paul
Kristen...
Feige is the director of
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. Now, that was the reason, because I watched Ghostbusters and I fucking hated it. But, you know, if I had to give it a score out of 10, I'd give it a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
And that 4, all of that goes to Melissa McCarthy's performance in that film. And, you know, she cracks me up. It's,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to say it's... She for me is the female equivalent of John Candy.
Nice.
And I loved John Candy movies
Yeah.
and watched all of his films. Just adored him. And Melissa McCarthy, I just adore her too. I watched her with I can't remember the name of the film, but it was a film that she was in with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And it was he played a stuck-up prick who ended up looking after her son or getting involved with her son. And,
Okay.
And it was just a real tearjerker towards the end of it. And it was just stellar performances. And that was when I became a fan of hers.
I liked her in Stolen Identity.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
you know, and I'd already seen her a lot in there's this comedy on Comedy Central where it's her and this guy and they get together, and it kind of I always avoided watching it because it was playing on their weight, you know,
Right.
about how big they were, and I was just like, I don't like the fact that you're using that for Melissa McCarthy, you know. Then you start seeing her films and you realize, hang on a minute, this girl can be funny. You know, and she likes being funny. She likes making people laugh, just like John Candy used to do. And so you just go with it. So when going back to Ghostbusters, when there was this big massive hoo-ha about how bad it's gonna be and I was just like, okay, you people over there can just keep it to yourself, because
Yeah.
I'm going into this film for a laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa McCarthy's going to make me laugh. Kristen Wiig is going to make me laugh. I can't remember the name of the black woman in it, but she made me laugh.
She was very good, to be honest. I
especially loved the female Egon Spengler.
Yeah,
She was pretty damn fine, you know. And I just went with it, you know, because I was going for a laugh. Because I'm just like, it's a Melissa McCarthy comedy, you know, like Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids, like you said, some of the scenes just have you in stitches.
With Bridesmaids, I enjoyed the majority of it. Obviously, Melissa McCarthy doesn't have a big part in the film, but
she shits in a sink.
In a bridesmaid's dress, yeah.
In a bridesmaid's dress.
That was funny. There was only really one scene in the whole film that I didn't like, and it's the scene when they're sort of doing their speeches near
Right.
the beginning.
Yeah.
And she steps up and she does her piece, and then the new best friend steps up and
Yeah.
does her speech, and then they sort of fight over the microphone and keep adding to it. And
Yeah.
I was just like, this is the awkward, it's not funny, just want the scene to end, and it didn't.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be that, isn't it? It's supposed to be the awkward friend, you know,
Yeah.
because obviously as you get through the film, you've got the girls coming back together. Who was the Irish actor in it?
Oh, the police officer.
The
police
police
officer. I can't remember.
From the IT crowd. Absolutely brilliant. I love all the shit that he's in too. You know, I watched the Gulliver's Travels with Jack Black that he's in. He's a phenomenal actor. So when I saw him in Bridesmaid, I was just like, that's nice, because you've got all the girls over here, and then you've got him, and he's not a complete idiot. He's actually trying to be nice, and it's Kristen Wiig's character.
Yeah.
Who's obviously, she's the main character and she keeps pissing people off left, right, and center. So you follow this story of her development of losing a friend, but then gaining a friend back, and then gaining more friends. Like you said, the whole Melissa McCarthy stuff. I've just remembered her having sex with her new boyfriend and them eating a sandwich.
He's the what's he called? He's the on the flight. He's the steward. No, the
flight agent.
The flight agent. Yeah. So anyway, I made it through Bridesmaids, and yeah, it was a feel good movie, you know, and
Don't deny it, you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. So except for that one scene. So yeah, that was peculiar. So anyway, I took a gamble on this one. And I was very glad I did. I was perusing through Amazon's instant video service, and I stopped along Goliath.
Right.
Which, straight out on the front, it's plastered, Billy Bob Thornton is back. I was like, okay, where did he go?
Yeah. Where have you been, Billy?
Just over the Christmas, I watched a film called The Judge,
right.
which is Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
And he plays a lawyer. And, you know, I love lawyer films. And this goes all the way back to my being a fan of Ally McBeal. Now,
oh my god!
I grew up
You're gonna
watching
pick any fucking court thing in the whole universe of TV. You know, To Kill a Fucking Mockingbird, A Few Good Men, Presumed Innocent. You go with fucking Ally McBeal.
Ally McBeal opened the door to me to courtroom dramas.
Ooga chaka, ooga chaka. It opened my door to dancing fucking babies.
Yeah, it's all confessions from me, this podcast, isn't it? So I watched every single episode of Ally McBeal, all of it, and guess what? Robert Downey Jr. He turned up in that and played a lawyer, so of course I wanted to watch him in The Judge. And it was also created, that film was produced or co-written by David E. Kelly, who was also the creator and writer for Ally McBeal. So as soon as I was watching The Judge, I was like, I knew it was David E. Kelly even before his name came up. I could just tell by the dialogue.
Yeah.
Watching Goliath, within 3 minutes, I was like, this is David E. Kelly. I just knew it had the flavour of it. And of course, during the credits, David E. Kelly's name comes up, and I'm like, I'm going to love this no matter what. And I watched the first 2 episodes of Goliath, and it took me to 1 o'clock in the morning. The very next day, I edited the next review, did everything I could, and then sat there and watched to the very end of that season in one go.
Nice. Compelling
viewing all the way through. Billy Bob Thornton and William Hurt, just spellbinding, just a brilliant performance.
Yeah, hold on. So The Judge was Robert Downey Jr. in a courtroom drama.
Yeah.
Goliath is
a courtroom drama.
Is another courtroom drama.
Yeah, it's about a lawyer who was the big game. He was in a law firm. He was the head of the law firm, co-run with William Hurt's character. But as a defense lawyer, he gets this kid off a case who then went on a murder spree.
Oh.
So he ended up... Bob Thornton's character ended up resigning, pretty much just leaving the company, going on an alcoholic binge, and just destroyed his career and his life.
Wow.
And then a case comes along that he takes, and it gets him back into the courtroom. And so you've got his personal drama, as well as the courtroom drama, as well as the intrigue that's going on, because people get killed off. He gets right into the deep of this case. He's got nothing left to lose.
Yeah.
So it was very good. And I'm hoping, because it hasn't been renewed for a second season. I mean, by the end of the season, the story's done.
Yeah.
But we want more. I want more. I love David E. Kelly shows, so I want more.
Sorry, my mind's just completely wandered while you were talking, and all I can imagine was a courtroom drama of Billy Bob Thornton turning up as like his drunk Santa, walking into the court, but then doing the Sling Blade voice and be like, Judge, I'm going to get this boy up, Judge.
I think it's John Perrineau from Lost. I always remember him from Lost.
Yeah.
He's the judge in Goliath, and there's a scene where he literally just tells the judge to fuck off, to piss off. He gets held in contempt, it's just all the good stuff. It's all the big bits of drama. He's just like, yeah, you corrupt motherfucker. Like, it's just great. Like, all the loopholes of law. Just love it when it's happening. And of course, it made me laugh because Billy Bob Thornton has an appearance in The Judge as the opposing lawyer that Robert Downey Jr. goes up against.
Nice.
So it was kind of like, it's kind of like his character before he went on this bender and destroyed his career.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of television. I got very much into Bates Motel. This was on Netflix. This came out back in 2013.
Yeah.
And I believe season 5 is on the way. So when I was looking on Netflix, I saw they had 3 seasons. I thought, okay, they did 3 seasons and then they either cancelled or they ended the show. It led itself enough into Psycho the movie. But no, it hasn't. There's still season 5 on the way.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I burned out, Ian. I cruised through the first season tentatively. I was like, I don't know whether this is going to work.
No.
But Vera Farmiga? She won a Farmiga? I can't pronounce her name. She won an award for Best Actress on that show. And she is brilliant.
Is she based
as Norma's mother?
Norma
and
Bates,
it's just a great what if. It's like, you could easily believe that this happened before the events of Psycho, because the actor Freddie Highmore, who plays Norman Bates, is also fantastic.
Yeah, see, the only problem I had with the TV show, when it was advertised and saying, we're making Bates Motel, immediately my mind was like, well, I know how this ends.
We already have 4 movies.
That's it. That's always my issue whenever a TV show comes out based on a film or lead prequel to a film. It's like, I know how it's going to lead up. So you cannot drag it out too much.
Well, Fargo did very well.
Yeah, well, the thing is with Fargo the movie, though, is that it felt like a separate story. It felt like you could go anywhere in that film and deal with any of the locals other than the cops and the robbers. The same with From Dusk Till Dawn, the TV series. I didn't watch that. Why? Because the first couple of episodes of the first season was based on the film.
Well, I watched it all the way through, and it was all the scenes from the film. Almost every scene from the film was then a full episode.
Right, okay.
Which got annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this episode's the episode where they have to get past the border control.
Yeah. And jump in the RV and hide in the toilet.
There was a lot of backstory added to it. More history about the vampires, their Egyptian background, the fact that they were serpent-esque.
Right, okay.
But it was very much TV though. It was the nudity was cut back, the gore was cut back, the language was cut back.
Like I said, I'd rather go watch From Dusk Till Dawn. Totally. Same with Bates Motel.
All it made me do, granted, was want to watch Psycho.
Yeah. But I know how. But
it did very good. I enjoyed the first season. I cruised through the second season as well because of the first one's cliffhanger. During season 3, I got about 4 episodes in, and then I just stopped. And I haven't gone back, and I actually don't feel like I'm going to. It just lost me.
You'd rather go and watch Psycho.
I'd rather go and watch Psycho now, but I will say I did enjoy it till that much, and perhaps with a nudge and a push, I could continue watching, but I think I'm done.
I mean, like I said, how you know how it's going to end. I mean, by season 3, his mum's still alive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we still need to at some point kill his mum off.
Yeah. Also, he has a brother.
We need to kill the brother off. We need to kill the mum off. We need Norman to start twitching a little bit and hearing her voice and talking to her body.
That already happens.
Yeah, and then obviously start to kill off people to lead up to what you.
He's already killing people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that you can drag these TV series out too much. I always go back to Dexter and say, look, Dexter should have ended season 6, season
5, maybe
4,
6. Even no 5.
5, because then you've got, I think, 6 or 7, 7 or 8 seasons.
I think it was 7.
So season 6 and 7 were exactly identical, playing on the routes that Dexter had gone through seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
All the way up to the end of season 7, where I just kind of screamed at the TV like, "What the fuck? You've just kind of shafted everybody."
Yeah.
Just because you wanted to drag out one more season.
Right.
And then you fucking cancel Firefly. Fuck you.
So I've also just binge watched through Vikings.
Yeah.
At this moment, I've still got the final 2 episodes of the second half of season 4 to go.
Okay.
And just because it's still very fresh, I won't go into any spoilers, but just say if you ever gave up watching Vikings, I did. I watched the first season. I was like, it was very clean.
Yeah.
So. But I was like, enough people went, stick with it. Season 2 is really good. And I got through season 2 and I was like, I think I'm done. I didn't like the battle scenes. It was very staged, very hammy.
It wasn't as good as Game of Thrones.
Totally not. Game of Thrones just blew it just out of the water.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was done. But then I was like, I've got nothing left to watch. I'm going to watch season 3. And it was amazing. It was just, loved every episode. I was like, they just, now the ball is running with this show. And they're following history very closely.
Yeah. And
compelling viewing all the way up to where I am. And I literally cannot wait to watch the next 2 episodes and be done with season 4 and then go, bring on season 5. And of course, Black Sails is just about to start with its final season.
Nice.
So TV's very, very good at the moment.
TV, you say TV's really good. I've been going through the new season of Hawaii Five-0. We're on season 7 now of Hawaii Five-0. And nobody else I know watches it.
Yeah, I don't watch it.
And that's the brilliant thing, because nobody can spoil it for me, and I've got this secluded TV show that everybody just shuns away that I'm thoroughly enjoying. The relationship between Steve McGarrett and Dano. You've got Alex McLaughlin and Scott Caan playing the two main actors, they've been building up this brotherhood relationship since season 1. And you just love... I personally love them just sitting in the car, driving to the next scene in crime that they've got to deal with, and bickering. They bicker like old ladies, you know? And it does... I will admit, it's very repetitive. Because you start an episode, you start a season, they've got this big thing they've got to deal with. They deal with all these different crimes all the way through the season, and then by the end, last 3 episodes, that's when they come across the big bad from the beginning. They have big action sequences, and then it ends on a cliffhanger leading into the next season. And nobody fucking watches it, and it's brilliant because I sit there at the end of, I sat there at the end of season 6. You know, something bad had happened to McGarrett. I was like, oh my god, is he gonna die? You know, the season ended. I was waiting with bated breath, and nobody else was talking about it. So I had this little thing that I could just sit there going, I'm waiting for Hawaii 5-0. Oh, are you watching Black Sails? Nope. Are you watching Game of Thrones? Nope. Are you watching this? No. What are you watching? Hawaii 5-0. Fuck you.
God, Iain. Of all those shows you just rattled off.
But it's because, obviously, I'm always saying it, we're always busy.
Yeah.
You know, and...
You need something to switch off to.
I need something to switch off to. So at the end of the night, I mean, you've got it easy. At the end of the night, 6, 7 o'clock at night, when you're getting your tea and you're sitting down, you can sit down in the quietness of your room, flick on a TV show and knock out 3 or 4 episodes of a TV series. I come home at 7 o'clock in the evening. I sit down to have my tea. I've got Dad, did you know, Dad? Did you know, Dad? In my ear, you know, I got talking to the wife about bills and stuff like that. So then by 9 o'clock, I'm like, I just need something to switch off to hold my hand and pull me all the way through, because I don't want to be thinking too hard. Yeah. You know, I'm tired. I've got to go to sleep. What do I need? I need McGarrett and Dano.
Right.
You know,
right.
McGarrett's gonna pull his gun out and shoot somebody. They're gonna run somebody over. Kono. This is the thing. You were a big Battlestar Galactica fan, and the girl who played Boomer in Battlestar Galactica is Kono in Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah.
The amount of times she's either whipping out a gun and shooting people.
She is a Cylon.
Yeah. Or wearing a bikini and surfing on the Hawaiian beach. It's just amazing. And recently, in season 7, Julia Benz turned up. She is an FBI agent working with 5-0, but at the same time, she's got some kind of secret thing going on, and you're like, "What the fuck? Is she good? Is she bad? Is she evil? You know, is she going to turn into a vampire at some point, or wake up in a bath with a razor blade cut along her thigh? We don't know."
Well, I think we're all caught up here, and I don't really need to hear any more about Hawaii 5-0. Let's get into the news segment.
News.
So, this is fresh news to me, and it's kind of interesting and kind of exciting. Now, I know, without a doubt, you're a fan of the Terminator franchise.
Yes. I say that with a bit because there is a few bits in the Terminator franchise that could go to disappear.
Okay. Well, I Terminator 1 and 2, without a doubt, just phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal movies. James Cameron, his career exploded after that.
Yeah.
Along with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes, yeah.
But after Terminator 2, Cameron walked away.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines.
Which is not bad.
Great action sequences, poor story, rehash, really.
I mean, the PS2, the PS2 and Xbox game Terminator Rise of the Machines was better, I think, than the film.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it follows the film, but you actually play it, and so when you die, you don't feel too bad.
Terminator 4, Iain?
You know, I like it, but it pisses me off that once the film finished, they just fucking disappeared with it. You know, they were just like, "Oh, we're going to start something new." I'm like,
well, it was a plan of a new trilogy.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen.
Yeah.
So then we had Terminator Genesis not too long ago.
Which was
Start
good.
of a new trilogy.
Which was good. I just felt the advertising for it pissed me off because the girl in it is Dragon Lady from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Daenerys.
You know, and it was more about her being Sarah Connor than a new Terminator story and a Terminator coming back and starting a new franchise and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's got... But,
I mean, James Cameron came out and endorsed the film publicly and just went, yes, this is the next Terminator movie. I fully support this.
Of course he does, because this film sets up his other two films. So that if you've watched Terminator Genesis and none of the others, you can go, I'm going to go watch Terminator 1 and 2 now. But it's like you've got that sequence. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Genesis, but you should go and watch Terminator 1, 2 first and just make your way all the way through the season. Is at the start of the film, you've got, I think he played the 11th Doctor Who. English actor, can't remember the fuck his name. He obviously attacks Connor at the beginning, and that's what sets off the whole thing in Genesis. No mention of him.
Yeah,
you know, brilliant British
Skynet,
actor,
just
doing an actual pivotal piece in the Terminator series to start off this new story. Now we won't talk about him. We'll talk about Daenerys.
Yeah.
We'll keep the focus on it. Why? Because Game of Thrones is big at the moment. You know, we can intertwine the two.
So I kind of enjoyed Genesis. I really enjoyed all the action bits. I enjoyed seeing Arnie in the role again.
Yeah.
You know, I really liked how well they reshot the opening of Terminator.
Yes.
I thought that was so good.
Yes.
Down to the detail. It's just such a shame that they couldn't get Bill Paxton to come back and play the same hoodlum character with a tire mark across his face.
Yeah.
But, you know, it wasn't great. Yeah, it was distinctly average by all accounts. And critically, didn't do very well. Also, commercially, it didn't do very well until they released it in China, and then it made like 3 times its money. And so straight away the studio's like, gonna get a sequel, whether people wanted it, liked it or not. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The rights to Terminator are about to expire.
Ooh.
In 2019, the rights go back to James Cameron. And James Cameron is already in talks with a director, and he is going to write and produce the next Terminator film, which, from the looks of things, will be Terminator 3. Saying that 3 and 4 and Genesis don't happen. It's a strange story, isn't it? This is probably going to be the same time as we get Alien 3, Alien 5.
Disavow our childhood,
but
basically.
The thing is, it's James Cameron, and all I can think of is that James Cameron, I'm still holding James Cameron to account that he said, his own words, I quote James Cameron, if Ridley Scott ever made another Alien film, he would make another Alien sequel to it.
Oh, God, you're going to do this again, aren't you? They're dead, Gary. They died in a furnace, okay? They
they did, but no, they didn't.
They didn't. Because if this is going to be... If you're going to bring this up again, I'm going to bring up Blade Runner.
Yeah. We're not going to bring up Blade Runner again.
I didn't think you want to go there.
All right, so we're going to get into the next news segment. We're going to go from Terminator to RoboCop actor.
Oh, yeah.
Miguel Ferreira.
Yes.
Passed away at the age of 61. And, you know, I have to give him a shout out. He's not an A-list celebrity by all accounts, but he's... I love that fucking guy.
Yeah, I love that fucking guy. He did some pinnacle roles. I mean, we're talking Bob Morton, RoboCop. I believe he was also in The Stand. He was... Walter Flack's sidekick. He was going around doing all that.
Always played great villains.
Great
Hot Shots Part 2.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So yeah, it's a shame.
We'll have to go watch RoboCop now.
You have to watch RoboCop again.
Yeah.
William Peter Blatty also just recently passed away, and you know he wrote The Exorcist.
Yeah, The Exorcist.
He also wrote the screenplay for it. He died age of 89. So, you know,
that's a good innings.
It's a good innings.
Good innings.
Really
and
good
he
innings.
gave us one of the most scariest horror movies ever. You know,
absolutely.
Did he write the second one and the third one?
I think he might have been involved. I'm not really sure.
Or is it just his name's attached to The Exorcist?
It's usually a case of the name is attached to it so that they can go, this is William Peter Blatty's Exorcist, not Joe Bloggs' Exorcist.
Yeah. But I thought I read somewhere that he'd written the story to continue from Exorcist 1, and then that's what we got with Exorcist 3. And I do like Exorcist 3.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the Heretic?
No, the second one is the Heretic with James Earl Jones and the whole locust sequence.
Yeah, African.
That's the freaky shit. But the third one's about the cop who finds the body at the end of the first one. Yeah. And he's looking for the Gemini killer.
I think that was in the novels, yeah. So I think that is very much from its source material.
Yeah.
Speaking of from source material, Warner Brothers has now got in development an Attack on Titan movie.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you're a fan. I'm a huge fan of Attack on Titan. Once I started watching, I seldomly watch manga,
I think
movies or TV shows. They don't interest me that much.
Yeah.
But every so often, one will catch me that I'm compelled to watch through.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan was one of those shows that I watched to its completion over a weekend. And I've been waiting for the continuation of it. And in the interim, we had the Japanese live-action 2-part movie.
Yeah.
Which kind of, it filled a gap, you know. It was an appetizer for waiting for the next show.
I like what you did there, appetizer, giant people. Yeah.
But now, Warner Brothers, they've still got Akira that they've been making for years. Like the last 10 years, they've been going, we're making the live-action Akira. And now they've gone, now we're making the live-action Attack on Titan.
Haven't they done also Ghost in the Shell? Or is that Legendary Pictures that have just done that with Scarlett Johansson?
I think that's Sony who's doing that one. So there seems to be an interest right now in making...
they finally caught up and gone, hey, these films are good. And it's like
the original source material is good.
Yeah, it's like, no shit. We followed Akira from the early 90s. You know, we followed Ghost in the Shell from the late 90s. They were all pretty damn good. They've all had video games. And now I haven't watched any of the Attack on Titans yet. I think, saying that, I have cheated by YouTubing some of the gory clips, you know, and I have wikied the story. Very interesting. If you're a manga fan, you've already seen it, but they keep, and I'm worried this is what's going to happen. They keep developing it for Western audiences. They keep developing it because, like yourself, not everybody's a manga fan, not everybody's an anime fan, so they aren't going to watch it. But we'll just keep developing it, and then it loses something every time it gets developed until it gets to a point where somebody goes, you know, they're releasing another Attack on Titan. They were releasing Attack on Titan 3, Titans versus Sharknado. And you're like, what the fuck? You know, the original source material was so good.
I think it's going to hold its integrity. If Warner Brothers moves ahead with it, they have already signed on David Heyman, who was, I think he directed one of the Harry Potters or a couple of them. And so he's set to produce the Attack on Titan remake anyway, or the American or Western version of it.
Yeah.
So you know, from this angle, I'm kind of like, if they go ahead and make the film, I will watch it because more Attack on Titan, I can be happy.
Yeah.
I think the Japanese movies, they lost some of it in the translation. They cut out a bunch of characters and they forced the story forward because there was a lot of manga to cover. So they kept it interesting. They kept the pace going at a good rate so that I enjoyed it as an alternative. But it really wasn't a substitute for the manga Attack on Titan.
It's funny you say that because I feel at the moment there's a big kick up for giant monsters.
Totally, we're getting Pacific Rim 2.
Yeah, Pacific Rim 2. So I just recently saw the
Godzilla's
trailer.
getting a new animated TV show.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for Anne Hathaway's Colossal recently, and that I'm a big monster fan. Godzilla is freaking awesome. Love King Kong. You give me giant robots fighting giant monsters, I love it. I don't care about the story. See the trailer for Colossal with Anne Hathaway. She wakes up in her apartment. There's a monster walking down the streets of Japan. You know, Hong Kong, Tokyo. Geography's not my strong suit. You know, it's over there. Giant monster walking down. But she's got a psychic connection to it.
Okay.
And during the trailer, she starts to realize this and starts showing her friends, like one of her friends is watching it on his newsreel on his phone, and he's like, "Weird, the monster's dancing," and she's like, "Really?" And he looks up, and she's doing the same moves, and I'm like, "This looks very interesting." You know,
okay.
It's not your usual giant monsters fighting and people getting killed left and right. There's something deeper with the Anne Hathaway character.
Okay. Well, speaking of monsters,
yes,
Hellboy. I love Hellboy. Hellboy came out in 2004.
Yeah. And
Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, came out 2008. It's nearly 10 years now, Ian, and there's still no Hellboy 3. Now, Hellboy came out before, Iron Man.
Yeah.
It came out before Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Yeah.
And it was at a time where we had the Blade movies, you know, we'd had some interesting attempts at superhero movies, but it was still, is it going to work? Isn't it going to work? And Hellboy was, you know, you've got your Marvel, and you've got your DC, and Hellboy belonged to neither of those giants. I think it's Dark Horse. I think it is.
Yeah.
And Hellboy only did so well in the cinema.
It's because Hellboy 1 is... Ron Perlman is amazing. I'm just going to put that out there.
Totally.
Ron Perlman is amazing. Hellboy 1, though, isn't as good as Hellboy 2. Hellboy 2, I find, is a lot...
It's a much bigger film.
It's a much bigger film because they basically just go, there is this other magical universe out there which Hellboy belongs to. The first movie didn't really do that. It was all about Nazis and Rasputin trying to take over the world. You had the whole relationship issues with him and Hellboy, and I think it's William Hurt again,
possibly,
who plays this kind of father figure. In Hellboy 2, you had Luke Goss as the elf.
Yeah,
you know, he was amazing. He was amazing. You had I always think it's Ally McBeal playing his sister, but it's not.
It's not. No.
It's not. But she fucking looks like Ally McBeal. You know, you had that whole relationship as well. I loved the way the music flowed in Hellboy 2. The relationship between Hellboy and his fiery girlfriend, the kittens, and when they go to the troll market, all of that was amazing, especially when you get to the Golden Army.
Well, it's all because of Del Toro.
Yeah, but that was the issue because Hellboy 2 comes out and people go, not really a comic book fan. Those same people are the ones that go, I've got to go see the new Avengers movie, and I'm like, fuck off. Where were you when Hellboy needed another movie? You know, where were you when we wanted to see more of this magical universe?
Right.
You were just nowhere to be seen.
Exactly. It only did so well, and so, you know, we've been asking and begging Del Toro, where's Hellboy 3? And he literally said that him and Ron have talked about it, and Ron doesn't really want to put the suit on anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot of makeup.
The fandom just kind of petered away for it.
He was also, I think, Perlman was also deep in Sons of Anarchy as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And but there was an occurrence. So I remember reading the story because it was so sweet that a child, I think, who was, you know, his Make-A-Wish Foundation, he was dying.
Yeah.
And he wanted to meet Hellboy.
Nice.
So literally, Del Toro told Perlman about this, and Ron Perlman went, put the makeup on me.
Yeah.
And he went to the hospital and hung out with the kid all day in his Hellboy suit, he just felt natural in his Hellboy suit, and that was years ago. I remember reading this.
Yeah.
But
the funny thing you say that Johnny Depp does that every year with his Great Ormond Hospital dressing up as Captain Jack.
Exactly. I think it's an amazing thing that they do. But recently, Del Toro tweeted out saying, "Hey, anybody out there want a Hellboy 3?"
Yeah.
And they literally within an hour, went past over 100,000 votes for yes.
Yes.
And so he then he tweeted out saying, okay, I'm going to go speak with Ron Perlman and ask him if he wants to do it. And Ron Perlman went, fuck yeah, I'll do Hellboy 3.
Yeah.
So he then tweeted out saying, okay, I'm going to go and approach Mignola, who was obviously the creator of the Hellboy comic. And we're going to have a sit down and we're going to talk about Hellboy 3 once more.
Yeah.
And because I think a film company, if they're savvy enough, are going to go, there's no competition to Marvel and DC right now, so let's come back.
Yeah.
Come back with Hellboy 3. They promised to end the Hellboy story. It was intended to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
And literally, Hellboy the comic, I think it finally ended.
Yeah.
And so now they're going to need to do the ending in film form. And
yeah,
I really hope that it happens. So if it is being pushed forward, if you guys listening to this, will it to happen?
It's very easy to, because after Hellboy 2, I mean, he left the secret division he was in, taking his girlfriend off. She was pregnant with his baby.
Yeah.
You know, Abe had left with them. And so it's very easy for him just to just be on his own, or with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, and the world to be threatened.
Yeah.
You know, we need a special character to come back and kill this evil beastie thing that's going to come up. Oh, look, we've got Hellboy, who's got this big ass fucking gun. You know, and he uses the big ass gun to kill it.
Well, speaking of big ass guns,
yeah,
Portal is looking to be made into a movie.
Oh, really?
Now, it's just going to possibly continue the tragic story of video games turning into the most god-awful movies you can ever see. Assassin's Creed being the latest example of fucking it up. I mean, that was Ubisoft itself, hands-on, helping make that film. And I thought maybe that would be the difference. Considering Capcom had really nothing to do with the Resident Evil movies. They're just like, yeah, do what you want.
Go,
do what
you
want.
Yeah.
And so it's just not going to happen. So, but interestingly, J.J. Abrams is the one who's looking to direct/produce.
I can already see the glare. The glare's coming in my eyes.
He's not also attached to just Portal, but the Half-Life movie at the same time. Gabe Newell just recently tweeted out, yep, they are coming. As in, both movies are coming. So, but
No.
Do you think J.J. Abrams can finally make at least a successful movie?
They couldn't even...
Tomb Raider's being remade or being made again right now.
They couldn't even end the story we had in game form, let alone end the fucking story in film form. How long have we been waiting for Half-Life 3? How long have we all climbed to the top of that tower in Half-Life 2, the game to end, and the man in black, the G-Man, stand there and give you the finger going, ha ha,
see you
got
never.
you again, see you never. You just like, what? I did Portal. It was a nice game.
Yeah.
That's about it. It was a nice puzzle game. Portal 2, yeah, okay, you expanded the story, giving us GLaDOS, giving us fucking Wheatley, the space potato personality.
I'm in space.
Dylan loves all that at the moment. We just spent the last week looking for Doug Ratman in Portal 2 because he'd seen on the pad of all the different places, so he wanted to go do it. I love the fact that they've expanded the character into like Lego dimensions, so you've got now Shell in Lego form with a portal gun. Making her live action and taking what is essentially a non-speaking character, right?
Yeah.
Into a film where she has to solve puzzles to get out of certain rooms, I don't see working.
No.
It worked for Cube, but they didn't have a portal gun. And a lot of them died, So unless in this film there's many test subjects...
Yeah, I think that's going to be
and only one of them has a portal gun... And there's lots of sentry guns.
I want Portal the game, though, to be very adult rated. I want to see the side effects of the misuse of the portal gun and experiments gone horribly wrong.
Why? You don't get that in the game.
Yeah, well, it's suggested. It's very much suggested.
It's like what I'm saying with the Half-Life movie. Is the Half-Life movie going to be like Hardcore Henry, where it's first person all the way through and he doesn't say anything? Because that's how I see Gordon Freeman.
I watched, is it Freeman's Mind?
Yeah.
That for me was the Half-Life movie.
Yeah, Freeman's Mind was good because it just gave Freeman a voice and a personality. Because I didn't get a personality with him in the game. It was like I was playing Doom all over again.
It's the same. It's the age-old argument of the silent protagonist. It's whether how much you want to invest you as that character, or whether you want a story catered to you and the character being a fully realised person.
You can't develop it into a film because before you know it, we'll have Christian Bale playing Gordon Freeman, or Tom Hanks, and he'll be crying every time somebody gets head cracked, and you're like, no.
Okay, so bringing up the film news, Ian.
Yeah.
Tremors 6 has begun filming.
God.
Woohoo!
How many seasons did the TV series have?
1.
Right.
Well, the first Tremors came out back in 1990.
Yes, and it's still amazing.
And of course it's still amazing. Now, the thing is, I followed all the Tremors movies. I thought the one where I think it was Back to Perfection was the
fourth one.
The fourth one I thought was perhaps the weakest one.
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy that one. I really liked the Ass Blasters.
That was number 3.
Yeah.
Number 2, they were Screamers.
Screamers,
They were Screamers in number 2, Ass Blasters in number 3, and then in number 4 brought all the worms.
All of them together? It was the worms and the blasters and
4 was
the Back in Time.
The Back in Time one.
Yeah. 100 years before the events of Tremors.
I was just remembering the end of Tremors 3 because then he gets the albino Tremor as a pet.
Yeah.
And then they brought a TV series out and I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
To be honest, I watched one episode of the TV show and I was just like, it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not Tremors enough. I appreciate the effort, but this is so severely lacking in budget that I just can't get with it.
Is Tremors 5 bringing Kevin Bacon back?
Well, Tremors 5 came out last year.
Oh, it's already out. Fuck.
And Tremors 6 now has begun filming.
Tremors 6, yeah.
And Tremors 5, I really enjoyed. I laughed so much. And of course, yeah, it's who is it? Michael Burt Gummer, the actor. Michael Gross,
Gross,
who plays Burt Gummer in all the Tremors movies, and he's the reason you go to watch these movies. It's for me. Totally.
For you, he is.
For me, I think he's a great character, and just watching him go grabloid hunting.
Yeah.
You know, I just wherever he goes, like on safari to South Africa, wherever he's fighting Tremors, I want to go with him. I love the fact that he's got his own TV show in Tremors, where he records himself fighting Tremors and uploads it to nobody who's watching on the internet. Nobody. Now, a lot of people hated Tremors 5 because Jamie Kennedy turns up.
Yeah.
You know, he was the meta guy from Scream. He was, you know...
Jamie Kennedy is... I
not had the best of film careers.
He appears in a lot of films and they always tend to be bad.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to look at Son of the Mask.
Totally one of the worst sequels ever made.
It's so fucking bad. And he tries his hardest to use the material for what it's used for, but he himself cannot pull it off. He's a good stand-up comedian for a bit, but then you just want him off and want somebody better.
So I go against the grain, and I actually enjoyed Kennedy's performance in Tremors 5 because I liked the banter back and forth with him and Gummer. I really liked the interplay. I thought some of the jokes were quite funny. Watching Gummer get sunstroke while he's locked in a cage to the point where he's pissing on himself.
Right, okay.
Just insane.
Yeah.
On top of that, the Tremors, the CGI Tremors were bad. So bad.
CGI.
But the puppet Tremors were always amazing and still work. So Tremors 6 is in production. They're filming again in South Africa. Kennedy and Gummer are back. And it's the same director as well. So I'm excited for it.
See, I think that's it.
But they haven't released any plot information about it yet.
Well, I can tell you the plot. There's a bunch of Tremors going around killing people, so they have to kill them to stop them from eating everybody.
Awesome, I can't wait.
But I think it's because Tremors 1 works so well because you've got the relationship between the main two characters.
Yes.
That relationship then goes into Tremors 2. They take out Kevin Bacon, they stick in that other guy.
Fred Ward.
Well, you had Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward in the first one, and Fred Ward comes back in number 2. And he's got his little buddy that they tried to replace
and the
Kevin
same
Bacon.
Love interest. But,
Then you do the same thing with 3 and 4 and 5 all the way up until you've got
double
Gummer.
act works.
Yeah, the double act works. It's just sometimes the material can be just pulled too far.
I think it's budget limitations that they have, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
But that's not the only Tremors news there is, Ian.
Oh, God.
Tremors, the series,
oh, God.
is going to be coming out this year. Very, very likely going to be coming out this year. And it's going to be, I think it's an Amazon exclusive.
Yeah.
And it's separate from the other TV series.
Right.
And it's also going to imagine that Tremors 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 haven't happened.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of more rewriting of history is occurring. But Kevin Bacon's come back. And he is playing Valentine.
Nice.
And it's taking place all these years after Tremors 1, where Tremors 2, etc. have not happened.
Yeah.
And he is still stuck in the town of perfection. And he is at a worse stage in his life compared to where we left him in Tremors 1.
I was going to say,
Kevin Bacon is really excited about coming back. He said he's always been interested in coming back to Tremors, but just the idea wasn't right. But the thing that upsets me is that there's going to be no Burt Gummer in this new TV series of Tremors. And I'm like, God damn it, he is Tremors now.
You know what? They will probably bring in Burt Gummer.
He's
but
not.
They'll probably just bring in a different actor.
Michael Gross has already said that he's got no involvement with this series because it's a different company.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you said, you can't have Tremors without Burt Gummer. But you can have a Tremors TV series without Michael Goss.
Well, it's happening.
Yeah,
so
it's happening.
It's going to be a 10-episode miniseries. So it should have its own beginning, middle, and an end over the course of the 10 episodes.
As long as Kevin Bacon gets his paycheck.
Well, yeah.
He's good. I like Kevin Bacon. And there's a reason why, he didn't go back to the other Tremors, because he was doing better productions.
He was, and the other Tremors movies were direct-to-DVD movies.
Yes.
Kevin Bacon was, I guess, better than that.
He was, because he was doing a lot of stuff. Like we said, you look at The Woodsman.
Yeah.
You'd rather watch The Woodsman than fucking Tremors 4.
No, I'd still rather watch the Tremors movies.
I'd watch it better than Tremors 4.
I've watched The Woodsman once. I don't ever have to watch that again.
Yeah.
That was a tough experience to get through.
It's Kevin Bacon.
It is Kevin Bacon.
There's only so much bacon you can have.
You can have bacon with everything.
You can have bacon with everything.
Well, that's the end of the news segment, Ian. So we're going to move into trailers. I know you already kind of jumped the gun a little bit.
Well, I had to bring up Colossal.
You had to bring up Colossal. So I'm going to start off with the shittest trailer I have seen this year so far.
Oh, glad you're putting us on recording now so I can go back to it later on whenever we need to. Go on, what's the shittest trailer you've ever seen?
Death Race 2050.
Yeah, that'll be pretty fucking shit.
It was pretty damn shit.
Yeah.
This film's out now, Ian. It came out on the 17th of January, and it's a straight to DVD to Blu-ray. And I love Death Race 2000.
Sylvester Stallone and David Carradine.
Carradine. That film is a guilty pleasure. It's Roger Corman era of grindhouse, schlocky, shitty movies.
I kind of like the Jason Statham one.
I enjoyed parts of it.
Yeah, the car parts.
Yes, the car parts. Yeah, of course.
That's it.
And so I didn't watch any of the Death Race sequels either. I was kind of like, eh. And so this is aside from all of those other Death Race movies.
Yeah.
This film stars Malcolm McDowell. And my God, man, this man's career is just what happened to this dude?
He did Halloween 2. That's what happened. He did Halloween 2 and just thought, fuck it. I might as well just
do whatever. Take whatever paycheck he gets. But here's the other thing. The main actor playing Frankenstein, Manu Bennett. Now, I don't know that I am a fan of his from Spartacus. He played Crixus.
Oh,
the gladiator.
Yeah.
He also had a very pivotal role in Arrow as his instructor, basically, who taught him how to be as good as he is.
Okay,
He's had, Manu Bennett's had a couple of little roles here and there, and you're like, that's the dude who played Crixus.
He played Crixus, yeah.
But
that's it.
That's it. Manu Bennett, you have now officially, in my eyes, killed your own career by doing Death Race 2050. I am never going to watch this film. Ever.
Somebody's going to Patreon us to do it.
That's the only way I'd watch this film. But if you're listening to this podcast, you have to go and watch the Death Race 2050 trailer just so that you can see what else is out there. What has become of some franchises.
Yeah.
Okay, next trailer. Don't Knock Twice.
Okay.
Now, this is a film that's sort of doing the independent film festivals right now. I don't know whether it's going to get a big release, a theatrical release, or end up going straight to DVD.
Yeah.
But I kind of like... You mentioned other Battlestar Galactica actors earlier, and I have no doubt the Battlestar is going to come up again later in the podcast.
Yeah.
Kate Sackhoff starring...
Oh, Katie Sackhoff.
Exactly. Now I know I have your attention.
Yeah, you got my attention now.
Now, it's the film is about a mother who's really desperate to reconnect with her troubled daughter and ends up becoming embroiled in an urban legend about a very demonic witch.
Right, so it's no Freaky Friday then.
No, this is a horror movie called Don't Knock Twice. It's got a very forgettable title. It has a pretty mediocre trailer, but I'm still curious because I really enjoyed The Babadook.
Yes,
I'm getting, and there's, The Witch, which came out last year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of witchcrafty movies that, Don't Knock Twice. I'm curious. It's got my attention. I want to see some more reviews for it. I'm definitely curious to watch it.
Yeah. It falls into the same line for me as The Boy with, what's her face from Walking Dead?
I'm not aware of The Boy.
You've not heard of The Boy?
No.
Well, it was trailered during the recent series of Walking Dead when it was on TV, and basically Maggie, the actress's name, write it in the comments for me. Thank you very much. She plays a house sitter for this elderly man and woman, and she goes to the house, and they basically give her a bunch of rules that she has to follow because their son will not be happy. But they keep mimicking towards this doll.
Okay.
And so when they leave, you know, Maggie starts to have spiritual paranormal occurrences because she doesn't believe that the doll is actually a real little boy, but then little weird things start happening. And it falls into that aspect of, okay, this is a horror movie, you're supposed to be scared, but it's kind of predictable. You know what's going to happen. And I kind of get that feeling from this don't knock twice, the postman doesn't knock twice kind of thing.
Yeah.
Amazon doesn't knock.
Well, now we're going to move on to remakes of a remake of a reboot.
Right, yeah.
Rings.
Yeah, I saw this trailer and
It's coming out the 3rd of February, so around about today.
I got well confused when I saw the trailer because I was just like, hold on, is this not the trailer for just the advert for the TV showing of Rings? No, it's a new Ring. And I'm like, how many Rings have I sat through? Okay, I've sat through the first...
The original Japanese one.
I sat through the first 2 Japanese ones.
Wasn't there 3 original Japanese
Yeah, but I never
ones?
got to the third one because
Ring
the first 1 and 2 scared me so much. I didn't want to watch it. Then they re-released it in
Sam
America.
Raimi was on that one, I
Yeah,
believe,
and
with
they did-
Sarah Michelle Gellar? Or was that The Grudge?
That's The Grudge. That's
Yeah.
The Grudge. Because they came out at the same time as
That's
The Grudge, and they remade Darkwater and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you did Ring 1 and 2, and then you had Ring O, American remake. And then this one came out, and I'm like, stop watching the film, for fuck's sake! Everybody knows that if you watch that film 7 days, you'll die. You know, and you can run around and investigate.
But technology's changed. Now we've got flat screen TVs that she can come out of.
Yeah, but what does she actually fucking do to scare people to death? Is it the fact that she climbs out of the TV and scares people to death?
Well, she also does jump scaring, mirror flashy moments, and
Yeah, that's all good.
telephone calls,
But how
prank
many
calls.
If you're a Ring fan, you've already sat through 6 Ring movies.
At least, yeah.
At least. So this new one ain't really gonna change much. It's a
No.
girl in a well, and you're gonna race her against the clock to try and release her spirit.
You'll fail.
You'll fail because that's why you've got Ring 2, Ring 3, Ring 2, Ring 3. You know, before you know it, they're going to release the Ring TV series, I bet. With Burt Gummer.
Yeah, I can deal with that.
Kevin Bacon. Oh, God.
Okay, next up, Logan. Looks like it's going to be a big hitter this year.
Oh, it's stepping up to replace Deadpool again.
Yeah.
You know, I was very unsure about when they started talking about Logan, but after seeing the first trailer, caught my eye. Hugh Jackman can act.
We know Hugh Jackman can act, yeah.
Not if you watch X-Men Wolverine's Origins.
Well,
You know. But he can act, and I was wanting a film. I wanted a Wolverine film to come along to make me forget Wolverine's Origins, because they kind of...
well, Days of Future Past pretty much did that.
Yeah, that's an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
You know, Wolverine's...
Well, that was a Wolverine movie too.
Yeah, I understand it, but it's an X-Men movie. Wolverine is a standalone character. You don't define the X-Men just because of Wolverine. You don't define Wolverine because of the X-Men. Old Man Logan, I'd only heard about like a month, 2 months ago with the comic. And so obviously I looked it up and I was just like, wow, you know, he is... Logan, Wolverine's storylines in the comic books have always been amazing because, like I said, he's standalone. He's always been mature. You know, he's always had these really dark storylines going along with him that you just feel emotionally attached to. Then they bring out the X-23 shit, you know, the new girl. And I was just like, how's that going to work in this? Then I watched the trailer with all the blood and guts in. And I was like, done.
Totally.
Finally, I'm getting an adult Wolverine movie where when people get stabbed by his blades, you go, eee, that fucking hurt, mate. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's how you kind of felt with Deadpool, you know? Just
Yes.
pull no punches.
Pull no punches.
This should be the final Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie. You know,
yeah, right. Whatever.
The director did go out and say that he has made this film so that it is in a definitive end to the story.
Yeah.
But he said that should Hugh Jackman wish to reprise the role of Wolverine again, you know, the door is open.
In 10 years.
In 10 years' time, where it's very old man Logan. I don't know. But yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for Logan. I have burnt out on superhero movies to the point where I'm just like, do I care?
But that's what I'm saying. Logan isn't a superhero movie per se.
Yeah.
You know, because you can tell from the trailer he's just wanting to live his life out. You know, he's getting to the point now where his rapid aging stuff is slowing down. What I love about it is bringing in Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
And letting Patrick Stewart be Xavier, but a more mature Xavier. I mean, I heard Xavier say fucking in the trailer, and I'm like, Professor Xavier swore. Ooh, you know? And I like that aspect. I like the aspect of where he's actually going on about how old he is. So it's not just the little girl that Logan's looking after. It's Professor X as well. So he's got two people he's got to take care of. There's going to be loss.
Yep.
You're going to get emotionally attached and you're not going to realise it. You don't get that in Avengers.
Not
really,
so much.
because you know that they're going to kind of
It's a different type of movie usually, though. So
yeah.
Well, speaking of different types of movie, Power Rangers. Ian, you were the one who said, I watched the trailer, I want to talk about it in the podcast. I was like, okay, I know about it. I watched, was it the fan-made or the alternative sort of adult version, the Dark Power Rangers video, which came out a while ago?
I think that was Katie Sackhoff as well.
I think so. And so now we have the new Power Rangers. Bryan Cranston is involved.
Giant head,
yeah. And I watched the trailer, and Power Rangers came out, I'd say, just after my time. Like, you know, I kind of got to I was at the age where I was like, you know, Power Rangers is for like the kids just like 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, I watched a few episodes because I had a younger brother, 2 years younger, who loved the Power Rangers. So I was watching it and I was like, I can see why you like this, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm too old for this. And so I never really got involved in it. I kind of thought it was stupid that they forever get beaten as Power Rangers, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, why don't we turn into our dinosaurs? Oh, we all got beaten. Well, why don't we all turn into our mecha suit? And it's like, why don't you just do that first? You morons!
Because you've got to drag it out.
No, it's just stupid. It was just stupid.
Stupid. It's anticipation. Like I said, big fan. I'm a big fan of giant robots, giant monsters beating the shit out of each other.
For sure.
As soon as I saw the original series and them showing those robots in the opening sequence and all holding the Morphos, I was fucking sold. I didn't care how old I was. People were like, hey man, do you want to come down the park and sniff glue? I was like, fuck you, I'm watching Power Rangers. You know, they were like, oh, you're so sad. And I'm like, well, at least I'll still be alive. You know? It did drag on because the older I get, the older I got, the more different TV series came out. You had like Turbo Force and Mega Force, and they were in space, and their robots were cars, but then I started to look into the background of how it was a Japanese program first, transferred to obviously America. Then they re-edited and re-recorded their American bits and put them into the TV series, edited it all together. And you got a half-hour kind of enjoyable episode for I'd say any age, because if you've got children, you can slap on for them. It was only 3 or 4 years ago when Dylan was really young. He'd wake up really early, and I'd have to take him downstairs. And I was flicking through cartoon channels, and there at 5:30 in the morning, they were showing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on TV, and I was like, "We're watching this!" You know, the Putty Men were coming out, Rita Repulsa. The film, that was a particular taste.
Was the black ooze or the green ooze?
The pink ooze.
Pink ooze.
Pink ooze.
Yeah.
He was an evil character who could form ooze, but it was a bridge to the new series. You know, kill off all the old characters, let's bring it more adult. Like I said, it escalated to a point where I completely switched off. Then the adult trailer came out ages ago, and I'm like, I could really get into a Power Rangers movie if it did that. With this new trailer, you can tell that they're trying to give it back to kids of any age, because you're getting teens in as well who are bad boys, not the good moralistic characters that we were used to back in the 90s. These are bad boys who find time bonding in detention. And then you got giant robots. And what appears to be a giant Goldar, and I'm like, I'm fucking sold. Before I even see Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa. Oh, mama. How many cosplay outfits are you going to see with Rita Repulsa in the future?
Yeah. Bringing it back.
Bringing it back. And
well, we're going to move on, Ian, because we're pressing for time.
Okay.
But speaking of bringing it back, and speaking about fancy dress,
Yeah.
Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
She's coming back to a particular movie.
Okay.
Can you guess it yet, Ian?
Bound to?
No. I don't know much as you'd like to. Brad Dourif.
You're going.
You guessed it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fiona Dourif. It's the Cult of Chucky.
Cult of Chucky.
Is this Child's Play 7? Is this the
yes,
seventh one?
This
This
will be
is
the
seventh
Child's
movie.
Play.
Well, it's still got a bit of catching up to do to catch up with the Nightmares and the Halloweens and the Friday the 13th and the Hellraisers.
Yeah, but didn't we already review all 6 of these movies and find that there was a pattern flowed, that Chucky always got quite close to his main objective?
Didn't he achieve it in the third one? Sixth one?
No, because it depends on which ending you go with.
Well,
because in one ending he gets the little girl and it ends on him doing the spell, but then the other ending he turns up at Andy's house and Andy shoots him in the face with a shotgun.
So how's he coming back again?
You're asking me? Right,
it's the heart of Denbala.
Yeah, it's the heart of Denbala. It's the fact, I bet 20 quid, Jennifer Tilly gets hold of a good guy doll, pieces it back together, performs a ritual, Bad Dourif go back into the doll, gets all pissed off that he's not human. They go out their way to find some child somewhere, chase the child around, murder about 6 or 7 different people in different weird, ridiculous situations, get hold of the child. Just as he's about to do the spell, he gets shot by a cop because he's too human now and he dies.
Wow. That was Cult of Chucky.
That was Cult of Chucky.
The setup is that the survivor from Child's Play, or Curse of Chucky, has now been put in a mental asylum for the murders of her entire friends and family at the hands of Chucky.
The girl in the wheelchair, yeah.
The girl in the wheelchair is now in a mental asylum, and she believes she did all the murders.
Right, okay.
And then Chucky and Tilly, is it
Jennifer? No, it's not. It's not. It's Jennifer Tilly playing, but it's Tiffany.
Tiffany, that's
who's
it.
His wife.
So
yes.
Chucky and Tiffany turn up at the mental asylum and start killing everyone, and so she thinks that she's killing everyone, but it's not. It's Chucky.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's the setup for the film.
That's not.
But here's the thing that I find interesting is Alex Vincent has a co-starring role.
Alex Vincent
played Andy Barclay.
Oh.
So he's back for the first time fully in a Child's Play movie. So it's now 2 survivors of the Chucky experience against Chucky and Tiffany.
And they're gonna get a love interest.
I expect so.
Yeah.
So is this gonna be the last Child's Play movie?
No.
I fucking doubt it.
Yeah,
but you know what? I don't care. As long as Brad Dourif's doing the voice of Chucky, I will keep watching your sequels.
You know, like I said though, the patterns were pretty obvious in the other films, but you went in there because you knew what you were expecting.
Totally, yeah.
You were totally after Brad Dourif voicing Chucky, killing
the
people.
The quality wavers quite a lot.
But I mean, Curse of Chucky, the most recent one was kind of enjoyable. There were some funny situations.
It was who was the director? I've forgotten his name, but it wasn't the director of the first one, but it was either the writer or the writer or the director that stayed involved with a couple of those movies. So it kept its integrity. It remained consistent with what it was. That it was very self-aware of itself.
Yeah, I will put money on it that when Cult of Chucky comes out, regardless if it goes in cinema or straight to DVD, it'll still be better than Halloween 4. Yes, I said it.
Isn't there another Halloween in the works?
I really hope not. Don't go there, Gary. Just don't go there.
Well, okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break, everyone. We're going to be back with the next segment of the podcast, which is going to be a discussion of board games.
Board games.
And welcome back to the podcast. This is the topic section of the podcast, and we're going to talk about board games.
Board games!
And joining us for this segment, we've got 2 guests for you. We've got Jeff.
Yeah, I'm here, Jeff.
And Liam.
Hi, I've never been on After Shelf before.
No, welcome Liam, first time, but you are someone who has come around and played a lot of board games with us. You come around every board game night. And since then, you've gone out and purchased quite a few board games. It's become another addiction for you, I've got to say.
Yeah, I've spent way too much money, probably. And every week, I'm always looking up for new games, and I should stop.
Yeah, but, board games are just a staple of my diet. I love my movies, my video games, and I've got to have my board games. It's a balance of all of them, and I think I spend equal amount of time on all of them.
Well, now, I mean, I could tell some stories about, some board games, but
well, yeah,
we'll get into it first.
Yeah, I'll just start by saying I was introduced to board games at a very early age, and it was my dad who brought me and my brother Hero Quest.
Nice.
That game came out in 1989. I was barely 10 years old. And me and my brother looked at the age rating on these board games, and they were like 14 plus, and we're like, Dad, we're too young to play these games. Don't understand it. It's got big rule books like Snakes and Ladders and Mousetrap, and there's no real instructions other than once you get your parent, to set it up. So those games. It was my way into sort of Dungeons and Dragons light, because I never went the full slog into Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. I always kind of kept it. The board games, because they were easier to pack up and put away.
And the models are nice.
And the models were nice as well. It was all about the furniture, the models. It was also the very first time I ever started painting models. I'll say it was my brother who was the one who kept going into Games Workshop and going to the conventions and playing stuff, and I was always like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but I lost interest at that point. I turned kind of 18, 16, and found alcohol and girls, and then I stopped playing board games for at least 10 years.
Yes.
However, I still played card games. I played Vampire the Masquerade, or at the time it was called Jihad. Yeah. Although it's kind of not a very politically correct word to use anymore, so you can see why they changed the name to Vampire the Masquerade.
It's Vampire the Eternal Struggle, actually.
The Eternal Struggle.
It was
based on
Vampire
it was
the
Jihad,
Masquerade. The Eternal Struggle. Then it was changed to Vampire the Masquerade.
No, it's Vampire the Eternal Struggle, because Vampire the Masquerade is the RPG, the Dungeons and Dragons style. Right. It's just your imagination.
Well, I still only ever call it Jihad. When I talk to the guys, my dad, Ian, and my brother who played it, we call it Jihad.
Yeah, if you've got the old classic cards, it has Jihad
from the early 90s.
It is Jihad.
Yeah. And so I took a huge gap from gaming, but I still played that every Sunday for at least 4 or 5 hours a Sunday, and then rediscovered board games again. Well, people started buying me novelty board games. I got the Buffy the Vampire Slayer board game, and I was like, ha ha.
See, I'd like
joke present.
I'd like to interject here, because my memory is a bit better than yours. For a period, we were just playing Xbox 360, and then you bought me Doom the board game for my birthday back in 2001, 2002. You bought me Doom the board game. And I was so excited. I'm like, we gotta fucking play this shit. Look at this. The models are awesome. The cards are awesome. Everything is awesome. And Gary's like, nah, I'm playing Dead or Alive 4 or Burnout Paradise or Smash Court Tennis. I'm playing Xbox 360 and I'm like,
but dude, I was at the time.
Hang on, I have a question. Is that before or after Battlestar?
That was before Battlestar. That was at least 5 or 6 years before Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah,
I had Doom the board game, and it sat in my wardrobe for 5 years until Gary moved in with me, and we were sat there just playing Xbox 360 and thinking it was so fucking boring. We needed something else. So I said, hey, let's play Doom the board game. He's like, you've still got that? And I'm like, of course I fucking have. We got it out, we read the rules, and we started playing it. And then we went from Doom the board game to Battlestar Galactica to obviously Zombocalypse after that, and then into every other board game that we play
it was
nowadays.
at that point that it was only you and me that were really sort of into board games. We dragged Big Ed, Jason, who's been on the show before, into playing games with us, but his interest in it kind of was on and off.
Yeah, he was still into Xbox at that point, and spending a Saturday night playing a board game seemed like...
But he soon came around to
people.
It. And then we met Jeff.
Yes.
And then Jeff started joining us for every board game that we played, and then soon after that we met Liam, and then our board game nights were pretty much set.
Well, we went through a lot of people to get to the core little
but
board
that was
gaming
the point.
group that we got.
The other reason why we took such a gap in playing board games was that there seemed to be nobody else interested in it. People looked at people playing board games as,
nerds.
the uber nerds that have no life. And, we were just like... we were part of that too in a way.
Before geek was chic, it was one of those things where it was not in popular culture really. It was fringe culture.
I remember in secondary school telling friends, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to come around my house and play Space Crusade?" And then just be like, "Fuck off."
But having said that, I mean, I think the reason it's changed and evolved and has become now part of popular culture is because people started to realise that computer game mechanics and tabletop mechanics were very similar. And ideas started to flood across the genres, and big improvements started to be made in tabletop at the same time. The systems that you use for tabletop are really good now, and you've got nice molded models. It's a lot cheaper to make those models.
So beautiful nowadays.
So it's not like just a kind of uber geek fest of imagination in which people like hardcore Dungeons and Dragons still is. It's much more like accessible to more people now.
It's gotten bigger now, hasn't it? It started off as Dungeons and Dragons, sitting in a room with a notepad and pencil.
And how many editions has it gone through?
Yeah, but nowadays you can get large groups of people out in the middle of forests dressed up as elves and wizards and
fully into roleplay.
They call it LARP, isn't it? LARP.
Yes,
that was when people were like, oh, actually, it might be cool to sit at home and do this. And we were already sat at home like, we don't go out on a Saturday.
We don't go out and get hammered. We'd sit here and roll dice.
People would say to us, are you coming to this birthday party on Saturday? No. Why? Because I'm playing board games.
Yeah. But it seems like there are more and more people playing board games now. It's an actual statistic that the market for board games over the last 10 years has grown massively.
Yes.
Whether it's because of, as you've said, Jeff, nerd culture is really dominating the cinema, it's dominating TV, and now board games are becoming much more accessible, but not only that, they're becoming a lot more sophisticated and more aligned with adults also to play them.
Yes.
I think one of the big reasons as well why board games are catching on is because co-op gaming in video games is kind of going away. I mean, everyone plays on their own online now, whereas getting together and being social and playing games together...
That's the number one reason. The social interactivity is great online, but it's even better around a table.
Yeah, you can't bully somebody across the table.
Well, you can.
You're like, I'm going to come over there and fuck your mum in a minute. And the person looks at you like, I'm going to reach over this table and stab you.
It's got to be said, you've got to be on your best behaviour when you bring new people to the gaming table circle. Because, of course, when you sort of play games which you can sort of role-play light, and you can have a lot of fun with it, especially with people that you've tabletopped with for several years, and it's just one of those experiences that I have found lacking in online gaming.
You tend to get more interesting cross-table politics as well, where things mix up as your regular group sort of like evolves and spends more time playing different games and stuff, and like people will just mix things up and things change all the time. So even though you're playing the same games, you can kind of have a very different experience every time.
Totally. The biggest example of that, Battlestar Galactica, the board game.
Yeah.
We played that for how many years?
We played that for about 3 years straight.
3 years straight.
And we purchased every expansion that came out. And when it came out, when news came, we were looking for the next expansion daily, weekly, every gaming session. When's it out? Not to be announced yet. Not to be released yet. It's in stores.
Yeah.
And all of us just went into our pockets and started putting money on the table and going, Iain, there's £5. Iain, there's £6. And it was like, order it now.
Yeah, wait. If I look back, actually, all 4 board games, we're looking at like 200 quid for all 4. I must have got...
I know you purchased the base game.
25 quid from everybody that was playing it at the time to say, hey, get the next expansion.
We just needed those expansions.
I arranged all the expansions around birthdays and anniversary presents.
Yeah.
Linda, my wife, bought me Battlestar Galactica the first anniversary. I mean, it's like that's the greatest gift ever you could ever get.
You called me around that night to sit with you and your wife and play it.
And we managed to brig everybody. We brigged everybody, and I'm wandering around on my own. And we're like, oh my god, this is so fun. And then the different types of games we played with Battlestar Galactica.
We've played with so many different people, and I've got to say, You know, I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of tie-ins, movie or TV show tie-ins that were becoming board games. And that's when I said earlier, I got Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But then I also got Spartacus, the board game, as well as we were playing Battlestar Galactica. And then I was like, holy shit, you know? The rule for TV and movies and video game translations being terrible is the polar opposite to board games, where some of these board games are fucking awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. And you brought up Battlestar Galactica, and I was going to mention it as well in the podcast, but it is my number one board game, and it still is. I've played so many more board games since the release of that one, but it is still my favorite.
It's the personal, isn't it? It's
what
what happens to you as a character.
I personally elevate it above all the others because, though, I am a huge fan of the show.
Yeah.
And so that just, it doubles up for me. Now, it can be said that people that have not watched the show, that have played the game, are not going to get invested in it like everybody else, because you know all the characters, you know how all the seasons go, you know what the storylines are, and so when you see the branching storylines happen in the game, you're like, you think it's cool because it's like a what if. It's like replaying the show and seeing all the different variations that could have possibly happened in the run of it. And so the replayability is fantastic. All of the expansions that came out for it means when you sit down to play it, you go, which season are we going to do? Which parts are we going to add into it?
What characters are we going to have in? Oh, that person is dead by this point. They wouldn't actually be there.
Yeah, but it should be said that a game of Battlestar Galactica can last anywhere between 2 and 4 hours.
Yeah, and we were pretty fucking awesome. We got squeeze at least 3 games in a night.
Yes.
We'd start at like 5 or 6 in the evening and then finish at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I always used to say the third game was never the best. The first game was always awesome. The second game was better. And then the third game would drag out because we've all expended our energy.
Yeah.
The games 1 and 2. So by the end of game 3, you're like, I don't care if I live or die. Freaking, what time is it? I want to go home.
And it turns into an exciting what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
You know, it
always just depends as well. Who is Cylon?
That's it, Jeff. Explain the dynamic of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the reason it's so good is because the mechanics of it are not immediately obvious. Like, you've got so many different locations you can go to, and they all can kind of sway things for the humans or the Cylons one way or another.
Yeah.
But you're always having to make compromises, and because there's 2 infiltrating Cylons who are sort of working against everybody else, trying to sort of like figure out who that is can lead you down dark paths, and you end up killing other humans and being suspicious of people, and if people make mistakes, then they can quickly get aspersions on them as being betrayers.
There are choices. You make your choice and you live with that choice.
You know, like, yeah, but you say that, but sometimes we've had killed people thinking they're Cylons because they accidentally put the wrong card in. And
I've only killed people in that game,
or they've
got
mixed up on what colours they were meant to go in.
But
you get people who are just like agents of chaos, and anyway, so you've got all these locations, and it's not immediately obvious either. You have to spend quite a few sort of times playing the game and understand the game in its entirety.
That's also
to then understand where your character is best placed and what actions you're best to do and how to sort of control the flow of the game. And so you need to have quite a good idea of how the whole game flows in order to then understand how to control it. So because of that, and you've got all the intrigue and all the cross-table politics and then all the backstabbing, it is really just great fun, but also quite hard to master.
The thing I hate about that game is the crisis deck. There is not one good card in that deck. So every time you have to take a crisis card, it's just like, oh, what's next? Riots. Assassinate the president.
Food shortage.
Asteroid swarm. Scar. You know, everything from the TV series is in that deck, and you just want to throw that
each crisis card is like an episode's, crisis that they have to deal with. And
because there's an admiral and a president as well, can be battles for power. Struggles for power.
Yeah. The CAG. Don't forget the CAG.
My favourite aspect is when you are a Cylon and you are in a position of power, like being the president or being the admiral, and everybody knows, but you look at the card and they're waiting for you to make the decision on it, and you're just like, You know, I'm just going to put that card to the bottom and tell everyone, oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. You don't want to see that. And then you play the other card and you're like, you should have seen the other one. It was much worse. And you just play on people, and you've got to be able to act and in a way deceive your best friends. And and what happens is the more times you play it, your friends will become aware of when you're lying.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then you also have to be able to chameleonize yourself and change to make them feel like you are actually telling the truth when you are still fucking lying.
Yeah.
And so it really brings out so much into the game, but you just remember to keep it in the game. But Liam, I want to ask you, because me and Jeff and Ian, we've all seen the show. You haven't seen the show.
No.
And you've played the game
it.
several times with us, and I remember the first few games you didn't like it.
Yeah, the first, it's quite hard to take in when you first play it, because as you said, it's a really long game. The rules are quite complicated. I wouldn't say it's ideal for brand new gamers. And yeah, you sometimes have long turns where you feel like, I can't do anything. What do I do? Like, if you're a Cylon, you think, oh, I can't do this, because immediately everyone will know that I'm a Cylon. And even when you're a human, you feel helpless. Like, oh god, the odds are against us. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But the more you play, the more you learn, like, how every character uses their special abilities, what every card does. It just becomes better and better, basically. It's a game that you can endlessly replay over and over again. And because there's so much interaction around the table, like pointing fingers at your friends, like, you're a Cylon.
It's an onion of a game, isn't it? There's so many layers to it.
Well, we're going to be speaking of layers, that we played the game so much that our version of the Battlestar Galactica board game is currently in 2 pieces. It ripped, it tore right down the middle. We broke her back.
I haven't bought a new one yet to replace her, because the nostalgia alone in having those 2 pieces and then placing it together. The Galactica just tells you a story. But I was just remembering then, Liam talking about Galactica. We played 2 games in a row, if I remember, in one evening.
Yeah.
And in both games, both Liam and I were Cylons.
That's right.
And totally random games. You know, the cards were shuffled for the second game, and we still ended up being Cylons. But if I remember rightly, in the first game, I was going completely crazy and used you to my advantage to win the game.
Yeah.
And then the second game, we worked together because you understood what you were doing.
Yeah.
And revealing that we were both Cylons just made it even better when we destroyed the humans.
Yeah.
It's the only board game I've ever played where I played President Laura Roslin. She's my favourite character to use in the game. And I was the human, I was the president throughout, and you know, you get to the very end of the game, like 3.5 hours, and you've got 2 of you're playing as the whole team, the whole table.
Yeah.
You know, the first 2 hours there was no Cylons. Everyone was behind you. Everyone was giving you their full support. And then at the halfway phase, 2 of them turned into betrayers, completely annihilated half of the human race of the survivors. And then you spend the next hour and a half with 2 of your friends that are. They're frowning. They're looking at the ground. They're just like, we're fucking dead. Like, it's game over. And the Cylons are there fucking fist bumping. They're fucking hip thrusting the table going, how does it feel, humans? You're getting fucked. You know? And then you get to the end, and then you just watch the last of the human race get annihilated. And then you just know that, you know, that was your fault. The humans. Just watch it end. I've walked away from that table feeling physically ill.
Away.
You get so invested in it.
There's been a couple of times where you've been ready to rage quit and flip that table out of frustration.
I've never gone that far.
At the same time,
but
it's one of the few games, like you sometimes give up too early, Gary, because it's one of the few games in which...
It's because I don't want to feel like I did last time.
After
3.5 hours of fighting against it just to lose anyway.
Yeah, but it's one of the few games where you can get hammered right at the beginning and then still...
Hand of fate.
Just squeeze through with the humans and still win.
Yeah.
And you get hammered down the whole game, but you just make those critical decisions and hold on and then slip through at the end. And it's just like, glorious.
Well, Jeff's
glorious victory.
It sounds very similar to, I know, the board game that you want to bring up this evening.
Yeah, well, that's got to be XCOM for me. It's one of my favourites for sure.
That is a good game.
Yeah. It's such a well-made game, and bringing the app into the mix,
was genius.
Paces it brilliantly, because it takes about an hour each time, so you can have a couple of 2 or 3 games in a evening, which is, you know, a work night if you want to.
Yeah.
And because you've got the app and there's so much going on at the same time, and it's co-op play. There aren't many other games like it. I mean, you've got, say, Eldridge, which is co-op.
Yeah.
But it's also not. That's just not as cool as XCOM. It's got that license.
Same with Battlestar. It's knowing the XCOM game. It's playing XCOM. What, XCOM Enemy Unknown from the 90s, 93 on the PlayStation and the Commodore and all that, and then obviously all the different types of games, all the way up to present day XCOM, which is just a phenomenal version, unless you get a glitched one like Gary did.
Well, this game is based on the sort of newer rendition of XCOM, but obviously as XCOM 2 now, so this is based on XCOM, the first remaking by Firaxis.
Yeah.
And it now they've brought the expansion out as well. The game has got really, really good. It's got to we got to the point where we were just kind of defeating it every time, weren't we, Gary?
We were playing it on expert difficulty level on a whim. Any mission didn't matter.
Yeah, and we were just able to defeat it, and it was more about beating our score rather than actually having a challenge of completing the missions. But now
it was a surprise if we lost.
Yeah, that's it. Now they've added a few more systems to it and made it a much more complete game, I would say, and it's also much better balanced to make it a real challenge. It really is one of my favourite games to play every time. It's because whichever role you take as well, you always feel like you're contributing something as much as you can to the team.
Yeah.
And every role is really well done to make each role absolutely pivotal.
It should be said, it is a 4-player game. Yeah. And you can play with 3, 2, or you can play it solo if you have no friends. And you are... autistic almost, because I'm sorry, you have to be the Rain Man to play XCOM the board game solo.
We're in Rain Man territory now.
Because there is so much happening in that board game, and you are on a timer, and there's no way a single player person could control the whole game. Yeah. So playing 2 players is doable because you split the 4 roles evenly. And the fact that it is a co-op game for, I will say, 2 to 4 players, it is really engrossing because you are on a timer. And the app, I was a bit nervous because it's the first time I'd ever played a board game that brought an app to the table. Yeah. And it almost changed my perspective on board games and the future potential for what board games could do introducing an app.
Yeah.
And the fact that it keeps track of all of the statistics, where your base damage, the panic levels on the board. Yeah. It tells each player what they're doing, and it keeps the pace of the game going, and it makes you feel the threat of losing.
None of the decisions you have to make in XCOM are difficult, but it's the fact that you've got a time limit to make them.
Yeah.
That makes it really difficult to make those decisions accurate, and it's the pressure of the timed phase that makes it an exciting game to play. Because if you had all the time in the world to make the decisions in XCOM, it wouldn't work.
Well, that's funny because obviously the console-based XCOM I absolutely love because of the combat sequences, taking your units out into the streets and fighting the aliens hand to hand.
Yeah, of course.
Then you head back to the base and you do all the stuff there, and then you kind of just sit there waiting for the time to kick over for the next mission. Mm-hmm. In the board game, they took away all of that, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work.
Yeah.
But when you sit there and you've got the world map in front of you, you've got all your cards and all the places, everyone's got their cards, right, ready, go, app is activated.
Yeah.
And now you've got to put alien ships in orbit. I like that aspect so much more.
Yeah.
Because when you start recruiting the soldiers and then sending them off to get, to become elites and stuff and then come back, when they defend the base, they don't actually ever move. You don't get out more map pieces and have to roll the dice and move them. You just roll the dice against each other. Oh, he's still alive. Nope, now he's dead. Right, now I've got to fight this. And sitting there watching your comrade controlling the barracks and lose soldiers, you're like, shit, there goes $15 from the next budget. Come on, right. Are we defeating the stuff in the air? Nope, that's all there. And before you know it, you just start watching the map get more and more, and the damage starts to go, and you're just like, game over. It's game over.
Because you really would expect, wouldn't you, an XCOM game to have been made like Doom, where you've got a grid-based match system, and then a turn-based tactical combat
But then
system,
it would be
just
too
like
long.
the game.
It would be too long because Doom's already too long. But also B, it would just be like Doom. So to have just the world map itself is actually saying, no, we're XCOM.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're doing something else.
It was
and you're
totally innovative, and the way that they made it 4-player co-op just made that game brilliant.
Yeah.
They could have made it like Doom. Doom is great, though, I have to admit. The latest version of Doom is brilliant.
Yeah, the latest version. I own both copies of Doom 2002 and 2016. Just having that bag full of monsters is amazing.
I gotta say, those some of my favourite miniatures in board games has probably been Doom. And I gotta say, I think the Gears of War board game models were also fantastic. But recently, my favourite miniatures that I've seen to date have come from Mansions of Madness, which is the third generation I would consider of Eldritch. I don't know what ever came first, Eldritch or the original Mansions of Madness.
I think, well, it comes from the sort of like the Arkham Horror files of games, which originally started with Arkham Horror, which is a very famous co-op game where you're up against it's based on H.P. Lovecraft, and you fight against Cthulhu and all the other elder gods, and it's famous for being extremely hard and also really long. Gary does have this game, and we used to play it quite a lot.
I have quite a few of the expansions for it. I've got to say that the game does have a stigma for being the most complicated board game out there. People were buying that game and never even playing it because they couldn't even get through the instructions. And I have to say, we went into Battlestar Galactica after Doom.
Yeah, we played Doom.
Battlestar is also a very complicated game once you add all the expansions into it. And from there, we broke into Arkham very easily.
Yeah, well,
I'll say
we've
fairly
gone
easily.
From Battlestar back to Doom.
Yeah.
We changed. We actually went and changed the mechanics to Doom to suit our own play style, and then changed Doom and took all the bits from Battlestar Galactica and the extra add-ons of zombies, and then we made Zombocalypse. So from that point on, when we constructed our own homebrew board game with RPG, D&D elements and models and map pieces, every other game was just so easy to pick up for us.
Yes.
It didn't have to, it didn't matter if it was
almost,
cards or models.
For all of us, it was like we could see the Matrix code of board games.
Yeah, the Matrix code,
we could see how the mechanics worked, and then we could start tweaking them, and we'd play test them, and then we'd house rule the changes.
Yeah.
And so we can literally look at those games and see the how it works, the mechanics, and then get right into it and enjoy it. And the Mansions of Madness, I said, the current generation that also is app supported, just like the XCOM, has had some of the best miniatures I've seen.
When we started playing that recently, I mean, about a month, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
I was amazed. I was amazed by XCOM's app, but the timer kept pushing me along, and it was a very high pressure game. Then you get to Mansions of Madness, and somebody sits there just with the laptop. Okay, what you doing? I'm going to go search this location. A fire erupts by your feet. You have to roll a dice. You're like, oh, for fuck's fuck. and you're looking at this flat, the flat map pieces and the characters plopped out. But with the laptop, your mind starts playing tricks. This crazy gill man's running at you with a knife. What are you going to do? Oh, shit.
It's worth pointing out that the reason you've got a laptop is because the latest Eldritch... Is it Eldritch Horror?
It's Mansions of Madness.
Mansions of Madness also uses an app like XCOM.
But the second generation of it does,
Yeah, the second generation does. But basically the app is playing the role that the Dungeon Master person, that would actually be filled by a person in the first edition. So, because of that, again, it makes it really good fun because you haven't got one person playing against everybody else. It's everybody working cooperatively against the system. Yeah. Which is really good fun.
Up until you go insane and then you have to murder someone.
Until you go insane.
It's always Ian, you're the only one I've ever seen pull the card where you get turned into an agent of the bad guys and have to win when everyone else loses.
It's easier to play a board game knowing you're going to lose and you want to drag everybody else down.
Sometimes we put Ian in the airlock in Battlestar from the beginning because we know he's a Cylon.
Well, you made it, wasn't there a rule every time we played Battlestar, shoot Ian at the start?
Yeah.
Because
but unless you're Callie and then you basically shoot anybody that you can get your hands on.
In my defence, I was defending myself because everybody else was acting suspiciously.
Well, now you wonder why we kill you before anybody else.
So do unto others. See, what talking about Battlestar, I wanted to bring up Spartacus.
Okay.
We managed to develop, this tight bond when playing Battlestar Galactica. That, like Gary said, you learned when people were lying and you were ready for the backstabbery to start. Then when they made Spartacus the board game, the arena phase in that is fucking daunting sometimes.
No, it's the intrigue phase.
No. Let me talk about the arena phase first, because the intrigue phase is really good, but the arena phase, when you get in there, you can have the biggest, baddest gladiator, Theocles, the shadow of death, stepping in against, I don't know, fucking...
The Egyptian.
The Egyptian, or somebody really tiny, and then getting his ass kicked. And you just watch the gold disappear.
It's those dice rolls. Yeah, it comes down to the luck of the dice rolls. But at the same time, you can balance your bad dice rolls by deciding, I'm never going to fight in the arena. When you get invited, you can just go, I'm just going to send in fodder. Doesn't matter if I lose, you might get something, but I'm concentrating on building up and winning in a different way.
And playing as the different houses in Spartacus, all the experience we'd gained from Battlestar Galactica worked because we knew Spartacus, the TV series.
As well,
We knew how the characters worked, even though they had their negatives right from the start. Batiatus is like the worst house. He's a tough house to
play. He's not the worst, he's a tough one to play, but I've seen him win within 2 turns of that game. The right cards. Again, it's
because everybody else is worried.
5 10s, I think, is our record.
Worried about everybody else.
holds the record for 5
for the fastest win.
And then, but you're protecting yourself from somebody who's just spent 19 on Gannicus. Gannicus, Jeff?
Mate, no, if I can get Gannicus, I am getting fucking Gannicus. I will play my whole game around Gannicus if I think there's a chance he's going to come out.
I've seen you spend a lot of gold on him.
It just depends. It depends how my game's going. I basically will play in one of a handful of key strategies. You either go for the baddest ass gladiator you can afford and try and win in the arena, and you spend everything focused on getting into the arena and making sure you win in the arena with your baddest ass gladiator, or you can play a get loads of assets game and just try and play with the cards, especially if you got a house that can cycle cards and get more intrigue cards, and then you can try and play the get around influence through scheming kind of method, or then there's the agent of chaos, try and stitch up everybody else as much as you possibly can, which usually loses you because everybody tries to just get revenge on you.
Playing that role is not advised.
Then there's the sneaky diplomat, where you just try and play everybody off against each other way of doing things, and then there's the all out, just try and buy your way to winning.
Gain the host every time and send people into the arena.
And just send other people in, killing their gladiators, just try and bring everybody else down to raise you up. In a much more sort of subtle way, using your cash and try and dominate the money.
When we play Spartacus, I always aim for the second person. And what I mean by that is, when we're playing and the influence starts to go up, whoever gains the lead, look for the person who's just behind them, because that's the person who's going to win. Because everybody's attention goes to the person who's got the highest influence. So we start screwing that person over.
That's it, game theory.
But the second person just goes, oh yeah, I've been just waiting in the background.
The ones at the lowest are also waiting just to backstab anybody.
Yes.
It depends on the game. It gets better with more players as well. If you get 6-player Spartacus or 7-player Spartacus, it's absolutely at its best. But obviously it takes a long time.
6 players, 7 players is too long a game. It drags because it's a long time between players. 6 players, I think, is the best.
Like you say, if you've got enough players, then usually what will happen is not even second will get there, because first will will start going ahead. He'll get clawed back and backstabbed and shanked. And then second will be like, but there's enough people in the game to stop second getting there. And then it's like third, fourth and fifth will start coming up, and then it could be anybody's game. That was how it was the last time. We had a 5-player one, and what was it? 4 out of the 5 were on level 10, weren't we?
Yeah.
And it could have been anybody's game, and I actually had 12 within my grasp, and I held back on it And then the next turn, I got stitched up and lost 2 influence. I called a Primus because I was like, epic spectacle. And I had a boast on a guy and we lost because the tides turned. And it was one gladiator in it with his stupid, crazy ability, Hadrianus, like, on the defense. Yeah, just turned the tide. And you thought that I was going to win for sure because I had Spartacus in the arena.
The match was so good that I bet on the losing team, but I was cheering it. I knew I was going to lose my goal, but I was betting on it because I was like, I can't fucking believe these dice results. Like,
it's amazing.
Just cheer for the enemy.
Yeah.
It was so fun to watch.
And the best laid plans can be completely destroyed by hazardous dice rolls. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. You always say I roll terrible dice when I play Spartacus. I always try not to buy. I do better when I've got the worst gladiator out there. When I've got no faith in my gladiator winning, he'll become a champion, and I don't understand it. And then he gets killed, and then I lose the influence anyway. But so I try and play the other game whilst playing that, and that's why Spartacus is a game of 3 sort of sections. There's the influency phase, then there's the fighting phase, and then there's the market phase. So it's sort of 3 little games in one. But with the alliances being formed between players and then being absolutely shattered and backstabbed when you least expect it, it's it's all based on the show as well. So if you've seen the show, you know who all the gladiators are, you know who all the slaves are, and again, it's like rewriting history with watching which gladiators fight each other in the arena.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah,
really good. It is. It's one of my highest recommended games. And again, when you brought me that game, I was just like. It was like, it's based on the TV show. I love the show.
Yeah.
Is it going to be any good? And it became one of our most played games. We overplayed it to the point where we put it on the shelf literally for about a year and just going, no more.
Yeah.
Just, no more.
We're not playing it.
We're not going to play it for a little while. And we brought it out again recently, and we get excited as soon as we can get 5 or 6 players to play it.
I've managed to play that game with no gladiators.
Yeah.
That's how much we've played that game. That after a while, I just watch everybody else buy gladiators up, and I just keep buying Primer, the host, and then I host the game. I never win, but it's just so much fun throwing people at each other. But then bringing it back. That's why I hate the arena, because I always bet on the wrong fucking guy.
I love being the host because at the end, when one of the gladiators has defeated the other, you literally hold your hand out with your thumb up or down and just go, kill him! And the other gladiator is forced to execute the other gladiator, and he'll lose that asset for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
There can be penalties involved depending, but that's what makes it interesting. Is like, is it worth losing the popularity of the people to kill a favoured gladiator?
Well, I always put it down to money.
Yeah, and then you force the other player to go, hey, if you give me some gold, I might not execute him in the arena.
Yeah.
And so much fun. So Liam,
wheeling and dealing.
Do you have a board game that you want to bring up?
Well, yeah, we mentioned it earlier. One of my favourite games. So yeah, Mansions of Madness. This is one that I got and introduced to all the guys recently. So yeah, basically it's kind of based off of Arkham Horror, like we said earlier. Really hard game where you fight the ancient evil ones. Mansions of Madness is kind of like on a smaller scale. So instead of like exploring the entire town of Arkham, you're focused on one little place, like usually in a mansion. So, Mansions of Madness, there's the clue. And then you're like investigators and you're trying to undiscover a plot by cultists to kind of summon demons, and you kind of like search around for hidden items and you find weapons like, I'll use this revolver, it'll be handy later. And you find clues, and then you interact with like NPC characters, and because there's an app that, as Jeff said earlier, plays like a DM role. It plays background music, which kind of sets the tone of the game.
Yeah, and the voices as well.
Yeah, and the music.
Yeah.
The sound effects of creaking doors and things breaking.
Yeah, and the sounds of monsters, and like it manages all the like difficult stuff, like how much damage you've done. And when you're fighting, it kind of has like a paragraph of text that actually describes what happens when you fight. Even though you're like rolling dice to see what happens, it kind of describes it like you thrust forward with your blade, but you miss, and it attacks you and slashes your back or something.
Yeah.
And like really horrible, sometimes kind of gross stuff happens to your characters, and it's really fun. I mean,
we played one game, wasn't it, where we were fighting the Dunwich Horror, and we started off in a cell with an old man.
Yeah.
And we contemplated killing that old man right from the start because we didn't trust him.
No, I said we should tie him up with the rope we just found.
well, we went round and then we found the rope, and then we considered tying him up because he just kept spawning in different areas, joining us along, all the way to the point where just as we were about to find out what we were going to fight, he gets grabbed, put on an altar, and gets flayed,
sacrificed,
so that Dunwich Horror could come out, and we were just like, fuck.
It was like, you have a turn to stop this, and we did everything we could, but at that point the entire horizon was covered in fire.
Yeah.
And so we had people out there without fire extinguishers with dynamite in their backpacks trying to put out fires. You know, it was we also had monsters spawning left, right and centre, and before we know it, the actual Dunwich is actually sat on the table, and that figure is huge compared to the investigators, and of course we lost. We died.
To be fair, Dynamite's killed us twice in that game.
Yeah, there's been some reckless behaviour with people with that dynamite. They're like, I'm going to throw the dynamite at the monster, and the other person's like, but I'm right next to it. You're going to blow me up. You're gonna... And then before you know it, the dynamite's at your feet.
I think one of the games it blew 2 people up, and it did. Wiped out half of our team, our own team.
Yeah. No. But, you know, the panic of the situation, it's great. For me, you know, I like Mansions of Madness out of nearly all of the H.P. Lovecraft games because you have some more control over the events than you do any of the other games.
Yeah.
I loved Arkham when it came out. I'm a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft. When I got Arkham, I just dribbled all over the artwork, all over the length of the game board and all the variations. I used to love, you know, those roleplay books where it would be turn to page 700 and this is what happens to you. Turn left or go through the dark abyss or try and climb up this pathway. And with that game, it was always choices. You got a card and it was you have to test your strength or you have to test your willpower.
Yeah.
And I loved all the variations to it. And each location had at least, there was a card for 3 locations. So the randomness just kept coming. However, the more we played the game and the more expansions we brought for it, we often are not found that players all just went to the news reporter and all tried to earn a retainer, which would give them money, so that then they could go to the shops.
Yeah.
By the time that they brought stuff, monsters had unleashed everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, what I liked about Arkham is that it is a spectator game. You literally are a passive observer of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And I try and enjoy it where people read descriptively the cards to each other, and so you get involved in this horror as it's happening. So I enjoyed Arkham for that. Eldritch, which was the next game which went global, so your investigators went all over the map. I enjoyed it for a little while, but since the expansions were added to it, we have not beaten it once. And I don't enjoy the moving around of the globe as much as I enjoyed moving around Arkham.
Yeah.
With mansions coming out and then putting you in very small locations with all of you never really wandering too far away from each other. There was a lot more cooperative nature to it because you could pass items to each other easier. Yeah. You were all there sharing the same experiences instead of being completely in opposite sections of the globe.
Yeah.
And there is the control is taken away by an app. And I always feel when I DM that I will go light on the players because I actually want the players to solve the mystery and get out at the end, but be scarred by it. Yeah. The app doesn't give a fuck. The app wants you dead, and it will not pull at any punches.
See, the app's
and
not
so that control is taken away, and so that's my only negative to Mansions of Madness, the new edition.
The app
I kind of like
that.
I kind of like that it's taken out of your hands, you know, and it makes the cooperative side more pivotal.
Yeah.
And there's also the procedural generation side of it as well, so it's slightly different every time you play. You can
the
be a little bit
story's always
lucky.
the same, the events are always the same, but it's the slightest variations.
See,
depending on which investigators go in and what the starting equipment's going to be.
I always found Arkham was full on right from the start. That was always the problem I found with Arkham, because as soon as you started, you wanted to go to the police station to buy a gun because you knew a nameless one was going to try and attack you later. As soon as you move, something spawns. There's a portal there. You've just been sucked into the other world. You're fighting now an invisible hand or something. And it was full on right from the start. Before you'd even get halfway through the game.
Time, I still see it.
Yeah, before you get halfway through the game, you're already almost insane. With Mansions of Madness, you at least get 2 nights to get yourself ready. You might come across some creepy stuff here and there, but by the 3rd night, by the final level, you're ready to fight whatever it is and win or lose. You know,
I think you're referring there to the scenario that we played specifically, because I'm going to say with Mansions of Madness, it launched with four or five scenarios, and they are charging How much is it, Liam, per DLC for the board game?
Yeah. Well, there's like expansions you can buy which add extra missions anyway, but those come with like extra tiles and figures and cards that you can use. But yeah, they're using like a DLC like system, just like with video games, where you can download extra individual missions. I think they're planning to release like once every month or 2 months.
Right.
About £3-4 each. And yeah, every mission can vary in length, but you can get one mission can last up to 3 or 4 hours at most sometimes.
Those are my favourite. Those are the ones you get really invested in because it's a really solid mystery.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things though that once you've played it once, you know that mystery, you know the flavour of it, and so when you do replay it, there's only a slight variation to it, and so you kind of feel like you're reliving that same story.
Yeah, but you can change your character. There are so many characters in the game for you to play as. You could play as the archaeologist in one, and then play as the librarian in another. You know, where you go into the room to speak to the woman, and your observation pays off because you're so good as that character. But the next time you don't have that good observation.
Yeah, but it's those are only small mechanics. The actual the story that's being told to you will be the same. The events, how the story plays out might be different, but it'll still play out the same. The only thing holding that game back for me again just a little bit more is the fact that I like DMing, and I would love to be able to write a story for Mansions of Madness, which is more doable in the original game, but with the new one, it's nearly impossible unless you want to write out every single possible monster's attacks, defends, whether when a human attacks it, whether they're going to have to use strength or agility, what the horror rolls are going to be,
that gets too
when
deep
NPCs move around on the table, and all of those different results. You're going to have to write a small little journal for each campaign. And so it's understandable that they are charging for each mission. But it just feels like each mission I can only really see myself playing once or twice, and then not again for at least a year until it starts to go hazy in your memory, and then you're like, oh, I liked that mystery, I want to play that one through again.
See, what we need to do is we need to borrow Liam's Mansion of Madness figures and put them in Zombocalypse.
Ian, do you want to mention again what Zombocalypse is? You mentioned it quite a few times.
Well, I didn't want to fully mention it because it's like a podcast in its own going into the details. Right. But I'll just give a quick overview. Zombocalypse was a board game that we modified from Doom the board game and Zombies the board game. And then we added in elements of our own stuff, like that we'd taken from Battlestar Galactica. So we had our own character cards, our own search locations. We modified characters for themselves.
It's an RPG zombie apocalypse. Where we introduced the fact that some players might be have murderous intentions and try to kill the other players. They were hidden sort of cards.
Yeah, well, I mean, it all started from playing Doom, you know, and you just had this lone Marine wandering around, adding in the detail of developing the character for yourself
so that you had a character to come back to the next week.
Gaining points to buy extra health and armor and weapons, and you becoming this character. We've been playing Zombocalypse for almost 10 years now, since its very first incarnation. I'd say weirdly enough, the game's on its probably 4th expansion from all the other zombie map pieces and models that I've bought to develop.
I think one campaign that I ran as a DM playing that game, I think lasted 3 years from start to finish, and now we are in year 2, I think, of the next campaign.
Yeah, and the level of detail we put into it came mainly from the players.
Yes.
You know, you had to become the character. Like, for example, I'll bring up Jeff's character from one of the campaigns was a priest. And the priest started off as a bit of a weed.
Rest in peace, Joseph.
Rest in peace. He started off as a bit of a weed because he was a lonely priest, and, you know, all he had was a pistol and some
But he
help
role-played him right, because there were people that were doing horrible things around him, and he wouldn't get involved in those...
Yeah, when his gold cross came along, and he had his special ability of praying, there was no better image than 5 or 6 models around this one guy surrounded by monsters on the board, and you've got 5 or 6 people staring at the board intently for like 3 hours, like, how the fuck are we going to get out of here? And Jeff's just praying his ass off, keeping everybody alive. You know, we'd be killing thousands of zombies a night, and then Gary would be just throwing more and more monsters. Like I said, with the models from Doom,
feels like it.
A little bit like hyperbole.
Man, we have killed a lot of zombies. They don't even have any details anymore. They're just, oh, it's a zombie. Yeah, kill it. Kill it. Don't even try.
You don't even see the horror in it anymore. You've seen so many.
Yeah, but taking the models from Doom, you know, we added in lickers or smokers from
Left 4 Dead was a big inspiration
we
to
had
it. Yeah.
tanks. We had acid spitters. We had head crabs from Half-Life with the little spider monsters from Doom.
Yeah.
You know, adding in the search locations because we used to. We played the first incarnation of Doom with the searching from Hero Quest, where every 2 steps you would have to search, or you'd miss something. Gary was a git for letting us go through an entire room and then telling us when we got into the other one that, oh, you missed something on the wall there. It's like, how, what?
Well, no, you looked for it. You just came into the room like, you were in the mindset of, I'm just going to shoot stuff.
We're just going to shoot stuff. Nope, you got to search every 2 steps.
You've got to find the yellow key card to open the elevator key card so you can go down to the next floor to get the red key card, come back up.
But
like
then
the boss room.
What we do now, obviously, is we add search locations onto the board, so you have something to
it's an object of interest.
Yeah, object of interest. That goes towards cards that we developed for the game.
Yeah.
With 3 different levels. You had
dice rolls, so you got
the dice rolls would then pick up
black bad cards. I mean, you got red average cards and yellow. You rolled a 5 or a 6, which can still fuck you with the odd unlucky one.
Your first search location of a mission, we're always like, oh, we're going to search over there. You walk over to it, you roll a 6, you're like, yes, good deck. Flip over tank spawns, you're like, this is the first 10 minutes of the game. Why is there an acid spewing lava monster coming after us, Gary? And Gary's mind just goes into this weird story mode.
It's calling Lovecraft, really.
Yeah, he just
what would he do?
Developed this whole mission for us, and then after about 5 or 6 hours of playing, at the end of it, you literally feel like you're drenched in blood, guts, and sweat from whatever you've been fighting in the game.
The farmer used to feel like he was drenched in blood, guts, and sweat, and for no thanks. That's why he killed
I think that character ended up killing himself in the end.
He did kill himself.
Yeah, characters can take physical damage, psychological damage.
Yeah.
The game has grown so much since we made it, and that is why board games are amazing.
Yes,
because the more games you play, the more you collect. And if your imagination goes there, and it has to be said, you have the friends that are interested in doing it, it is a world of experiences that I can't find anywhere else yet. I can't find it.
We've had some really classic moments. We've had plane fall out of the sky with all the heroes on it. We've had sinking submarines.
Yeah.
We've had a biker have his dick bitten off by a
woman who turned into a zombie.
I got crushed by a building because I was looking for supplies.
We've spent entire missions trying to save the life of a particular civilian, two twins, and we've had that used as a meat shield
to fight off some zombies
by a gigantic wrestler, and he just chucked it at the zombies.
In my defence, I told you not to get too attached to any characters because I was off. I had a week off. I come back, we found twins. Well, I'm putting her in a bag and I'm using her as a meat shield.
Yeah, he did just chucked her to the zombies rather than getting himself. We have had some amazing moments between the MMA fighter and the wrestler, tag teaming, mass killing zombies. We've been eaten by worms. We've been eviscerated by backstabbing wankers. We've been smashed by ancient ones.
And it's very much, you can see why the draw and the attention to Dungeons and Dragons is still there, because what we play with our own created game is very much, it's just not as complicated as Dungeons and Dragons. It's not all pen and paper. It's very much models borrowed from different board games and map tiles, and that's just what keeps it fresh for us.
Yes.
And so but we wouldn't have gotten there if we had not been playing board games anyway, and just collecting them and playing them. And if you don't have any friends that you can play board games, I know for a fact that there are plenty of websites cropping up all over the internet for single gamers to get together and find groups to play with.
Oh yeah, they're coming up more.
I know.
And more nowadays.
I know. In Plymouth alone, last year there was a church hall that was hired out for people to come in and bring their board games.
Yes,
and these are cropping up more and more and more. So and the market for board games is growing. You know, there are so many great game companies producing quality content constantly, and I know our collections of board games are going to continue to grow.
Don't say that, because I can just hear my bank account screaming at me
I know.
now.
There's already so many board games that I want to buy. I want to buy the Witcher game. I want to buy the Firefly game.
Yeah.
We want to get Descent, the board game. Exciting times. I want to get the Xenoshift Dreadmire expansion.
Yeah, I want to buy Star Trek Catan.
Yeah,
I want to get that one, and I need to buy the.
What do you want to buy,
Liam?
Well, like you said, the Descent board game, which is like a classic dungeon crawling game with like lots of really cool figures and heroes.
There's so many expansions,
and they've added an
well.
app to that as well, so someone doesn't have to play the Overlord anymore.
And stop picking on those weak players.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be the end of the section of the podcast, and the topic was board games. Just want to say thanks for listening, everyone. Ian and I will be back for the final part of the podcast, answering your questions. Don't go anywhere. And we're back, and we are at the questions segment of the podcast, Ian.
Yes.
Now, last month we asked everyone to either leave some feedback or your comments, and I've got to say, we were blown away by the feedback, the views, the shares, the likes, and the questions that came straight away.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. I can't express enough. I mean, I'm letting Gary say thank you, and then I'm sat here like, thank you. You like us. You really like us. You think about it. You sit there and you think we need to record more content for the channel. You know, we should do a podcast. Are people going to listen to it?
I was very nervous and scared about the possible reception. Yeah.
Yeah. When are they going to have the time to listen to it? And then all of a sudden, I mean, I think we got over 1,000 views and people listened to it. But it was awesome. And then the comments came in, and I was just like, "Now we've got to find time to record a second one."
Yeah. Yep. And so we did get a lot of questions. We also got a lot of comments, and so I have narrowed it down, Ian, to just the questions.
Yeah.
So if you did leave a nice comment, thank you very much. But we are just going to do the shout outs to the actual questions that came in.
Well, it's all you, man. I was just soaking in the love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll write down in the next one. In the next one, I'll make a list.
Yeah, you can do the questions next time, Ian.
Shit, I've got it on record.
You've actually got to do it. Okay. So first question comes in from Seamus Hobo.
Okay.
Okay. He asks, what's your favourite game based on a film, and what's your worst game based on a film?
Well, Seamus...
He's also laughing at this question.
Yeah.
At us.
Mr. Hobo. The issue with this question is there are a lot of shit game to films out there, and there are a lot of brilliant games that have been converted into really shit films.
Resident Evil.
I am a big fan of Doom, and I've got to admit,
you got to be specific here.
Okay. I love the game Doom. Okay, it is the best game I've ever played. I've played it a lot. I spent a lot of my childhood playing it. You know, I have both board games. I played the 2016 game to death and more. And I've got to admit, I do kind of like the film as well. It's the best. It's the best video game to movie.
It's not even hell.
I know, but comparing...
How is it the best one?
Comparing it to some of the others out there, I could say Tomb Raider, but I only really like Tomb Raider because of Angelina Jolie. You know, I only like Resident Evil because of Mila Jovovich. You know, I like Doom because it's got BFG in it. It's got a Pinky in it. Yeah, the imps are kind of in it, but it makes me want to go and play the game. So I go back and play the game, and I rip the shit out of hell.
So, Ian, your answer to best movie based on a video game?
Yep.
Doom.
Okay,
Ian, what is the worst movie based on a game?
Worst movie based on a game?
Oh, actually, no. The question is worst game based on a film.
Worst game based on a film?
Yeah.
Games based on films?
Yeah.
Can you name one?
Well, there was like almost every superhero movie came out had a video game, which was absolutely terrible. They would knock the games out to tie with the movie's releases.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you also had going all the way back to the Sega Mega Drive and retro games. You know, they were made after the movies. Like Back to the Future, the video game on the NES was just horrific.
Oh my god, the memories have flown back. I just remembered playing Back to the Future 3 on the Sega Master System 2.
Oh my gosh!
And that game, it only had 5 levels.
Unfinishable.
I completed it.
Oh my god!
I completed it. It's hard, but if I really had to go with one, it would have to be the worst game based on a film. Ghostbusters.
Oh god.
On the Amstrad.
On the Amstrad.
On the Amstrad. I played it on the Amstrad, and you've got that stupid map and all the ghosts going in there and the horrible music playing through your
constant 8-bit Ghostbusters tune.
Trying to work out what controls on the keyboard do what, moving the joystick. You know, we're talking Amstrads.
Oh, I know the experience.
They were pretty bad.
I had
so
the same experience.
It would be Ghostbusters on the Amstrad.
Yep. Good answer. For me, the worst, or my favourite game
to film.
I don't have one, really. I mean, I said it in the review, but I guess Mortal Kombat is still the best film adapted from a game.
Yeah. You compare it to some of them out there.
Yeah.
I mean, like Postal by Yui Boll.
Oh, God.
I haven't even seen it.
I didn't see that one. I saw Far Cry,
okay.
the movie, which was just abysmal.
I forgot Far Cry.
House of the Dead.
House of the Dead.
Max Payne, the movie was, oh my God.
Alone in the Dark with Christian Slater.
Amy Reed, Tara Reid.
Tara Reid.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's so many horrible ones to choose from. You know, my favorite. Well, actually, the question was favorite game based on a film. I just totally read it and then in my head thought of a completely different question.
So, okay, you got the paper. It's
I know. But so I just thought it was. Yeah, I'm totally mucked up your question, Mr. Hobo. But I was going to say, the Resident Evil film franchise just disgusts me. Although I can't wait to see the next one so I can be disgusted once more. So that I can eventually go, Ian, one of these Halloweens, one of these Octobers, we're doing the entire Resident Evil franchise so that I can go blue in the face, reviewing all of the Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
And then just destroying every one of the movies and how horrible they are. Except, I still quite enjoy the first Resident Evil movie.
Of course you do. It's Resident Evil.
It was because it was, it still disappointed me terribly that I didn't get the Resident Evil movie that I wanted. But I was like, okay, this sort of coincides with what's happening in Resident Evil. I still wanted I wanted the Resident Evil movie. I wanted to see Bravo team and going into the Spencer Mansion with Wesker and figuring everything out and just doing that mystery, that haunted house with zombies.
But it's like I've always said, it's difficult to base it because I thought the same thing. And who would you have followed, Chris or Jill? You could have paired them both up, but then it's not like the game. And, Okay, so one of the worst. I mean, this comes my answer is the worst game based on a movie is fucking Aliens: Colonial Marines. We've talked about we've talked about this. Or I've talked about this in at least 2 videos on the channel. And when it first came out, I wasn't as seething as I originally expected. That is a bad game, Gary. That's a horrible taste in my mouth now.
It is, but the thing is, Ian, you and me played that game over a year after its release. We still played it.
Yeah.
Because we were like, Ian, it's a Thursday evening. We free it up so that we can play online together. And we're like, we just want to go on a bug hunt, man.
We would. We would go on that survival mode.
Aliens Colonial Marines was the game that we dreamed about. And it was the biggest herd we'd ever had. Our experience with it just, the sheer fanboyism and just the slow death as we went through playing that game.
The single player of Aliens Colonial Marines is terrible, but when we played it on multiplayer and we got 4 of us together, we went to LV426.
Fans of the movies,
we'd go through, shoot as many of the glitchy aliens as we could, save each other as much as we could, gather all the sentry guns, move back to operations, lock down the doors, and just hold off for the last couple of waves. That was phenomenal. I will go on record and say it. Colonial Marines is so bad, but those moments, we always used to joke, didn't we?
Yeah.
We'd get the LV426 and be like, That's raining again.
It's always raining.
It's always raining. It's always raining. Every time we come here, it's raining. And it was... Yeah. Clone of Marines.
So I hope I've answered your question there, Seamus. Moving on. Matthias says, "This is great. I always listen to your reviews on my iPad at work, so this is just perfect.
Hey, Matthias.
Do more of these, please."
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, Matthias.
I do have a question or a suggestion, maybe. Would you guys consider doing a themed month? Kind of like you do every October, for example. A John Carpenter month, a Bruce Campbell month, or Stanley Kubrick month, or maybe even John Candy month. What do you think, Ian? We've discussed this before, but not for a while. It's always been
up for discussion. But the issue that we do have is you can be oversaturated. If you stick to a particular set of films, even though it changes over time, you start to kind of just wane and just want to watch something else. So, okay, 4 weeks of Bruce Campbell I could do. I could do stand on my fucking head. 8 months, 12 months. Give me all of his films, and after a while, I'm just like, Bruce Campbell. Stanley Kubrick, though,
it's tough going to say I'm going to
Where do you start? Yeah.
Well, we haven't actually reviewed any Kubrick films yet, have we?
Yeah, I know, because look, it's fucking 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's like 7 hours of movie right there.
It only is that long.
It feels it. Like when 2001 is a long fucking movie. I'd need at least a month to prepare for just to review that and edit
So I thought you were
it
going to
after.
say something else.
The Shining, yeah, could do. Clockwork Orange.
Yeah,
It's
to
a bit
this
weird.
day, and I've never watched Clockwork Orange in its entirety.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you haven't missed much.
No, I think I got the gist of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. The reason why I think it definitely comes across in the channel, and if you just look at January's release of our reviews, we have made more horror movie reviews than anywhere else, and we know our audience loves the horror movie reviews.
What's up with that? You gave us like 5 or 6 horror movies in a row.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird, but at the same time, I'm like, well, fuck, it's January, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
We can review whatever we want. However, we have literally just gone from request to request to request to request, and they've all been horror movies.
Yeah.
Which is still great, because I fucking love horror movies. It's my favourite genre. It's along with sci-fi, are the ones I get really excited to talk about.
Yeah.
When I also, don't get me wrong, I do love talking about, so the classics, the greats, Oscar-winning movies, or really highly regarded movies, and foreign language movies, because they test me. Yeah. They test me to watch something out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
When I have to review a musical, or whenever I have to review, say, a black gangster movie, which, is out of my comfort zone.
Knew you were going to go there.
I'm being honest. I'm just saying, it's not the sort of films I watch for entertainment.
Yeah.
So if I'm then told you're going to review this and talk about it from an academic perspective, as well as give your own, human response to the film, because that's what our reviews essentially are.
Yeah.
I have to draw upon something else and talk to an audience that my understanding of the film, and sometimes it can be really difficult.
Yeah.
So
it's easy for me when you're just sat here talking to me, and I'm just like, how did you enjoy that fucking film? And you just argue at me for like 45 minutes, and I'm just like, I should have this on record. I should let the people listen to this, because they need to hear that. But it's like what you said, you got to see it from a particular angle. So having a themed month, and then doing it again, and then again.
I also like our pacing of the fact that it's only that one time of the year that we really bend over, because doing like the Hellraiser movies, sorry, the amount of editing involved in making 10 hours worth of content or more for the space of October. It is the case of doing double time to triple time the work, because we are also editing and preparing the normal weekly reviews as well.
And living.
And trying to have a life. And so, I'm not complaining. It's just, it's a lot of work to do those. And looking at other aspects, it kind of feels like if we look at John Carpenter, all of a sudden, it's just like, let's just do every John Carpenter movie, and we'd be straight for 6 months. But, it's like, so if we just go for 1 month, that's like 4 videos.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, which 4 do we do? And then do we ever come back to it? And we also have to look at our audience and go, do they want that much? Now, I I knew we had a small drop in numbers the last time that we did a bunch of movies based on video games.
Right,
The first year that we did it with Mortal Kombat, Dead or Alive, and Tekken,
Tekken.
you know, that did really well. A year later or 2 years later, we did all of those movie sequels.
Yes.
And, you know, we got some good views on them, but it kind of... We did almost put a wedge to our audience that were just going, ugh, it's just another video game to movie review this week, you know.
Yeah.
Waited 4 weeks now for a fresh video. So I also bear that in mind. And so that's why our October Halloween picks, we kind of know about 3 months in advance what it is, because we have to get the time ready to watch all of those movies and have the time to do all the editing. So so doing a themed month is kind of like, we wouldn't go overboard with it. We would just choose a movie, so it would just be 4 movies.
I've got it. I've just come up with the pinnacle answer for this.
Okay.
Is it Matthias who sent us the question? This month, Matthias. Not this month, sorry. This year, for our game reviews.
Yeah. Are we doing that? I was thinking that we might
are,
not do it.
No, we are doing it, because I've just come up with it. We are doing it, depending on public response as well. And it's going to be a themed month. Games into films.
Yeah.
By Yui Bowl.
Oh no, dude! I didn't.
Yes.
Of all the theme months suggested, you choose Yui Bowl month.
Yes. Yes,
dude, because it's so painful to watch.
Yes, I know.
You know, for us to watch, we have to watch those films.
Four Yui Bowl films, games that have been turned into.
Well, we usually
if the public response is good.
So the answer is yes. We do have other themed months, and yes, they are movies based on video games. Being avid gamers as well.
Yeah.
And so Ian has nominated and chosen Yui Bowl month.
Thrown the gauntlet down.
So let us know which movies we're going to cover, and if you can please change Ian's mind to save my sanity.
You can't.
Ian doesn't need to go insane. He's already been there. You're not taking me with you. Next question comes from Tim Lemmox, who says that
Hi, Tim.
He's bummed that Rogue One didn't even get mentioned. That said, I love your channel and would totally be a patron if I could. In other words, keep up the great work.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I think we sort of briefly mentioned Rogue One.
When the first podcast came out, the film had just come out. It had only been out for, I think, a month. And so it was a case of... Well, actually, I say spoilers for Rogue One. If you're not a Star Wars fan, then yeah, this is going to be total spoilers for you. If you are a Star Wars fan...
You've already seen it once or twice.
Not only that, but you already knew what was going to happen because, well, they're rebels going after the plans for the Death Star. So I know the Death Star survives.
Well, yeah.
Because it's in the next one. I was very impressed with Peter Cushing. That was... No, I was, because the effects they did for him, building up his character, having him there, taking control of the Death Star itself, you know, taking on the rebels. I watched Star Wars Rebels, the cartoon series.
Okay, I never watched it.
It follows a long line with the building of the rebellion straight after Episode 3, leading all the way through to what would be Episode 4, New Hope. So it coincides with kind of Rogue One, right?
Yeah.
Having that multiverse playing off, you know, going into the film and just being like, okay, yeah, I know the Death Star survives, let's see how it goes. You've got the lead female, you've got Forrest Whitaker, you've got the guy from Casino Royale.
Mads Mikkelsen, I think it is.
Yeah.
The guy who played Hannibal, who, again, I said this about Doctor Strange, incredibly talented actor and underused. I mean, I'm just, I know I've jumped right on top of you, Arian, but
go.
I'm just going to give my...
Imagery again, Gary, come on.
I was very disappointed with Rogue One, Ian. I walked out bored.
How were you bored with pew, 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 pew?
I'm sorry, it was the Michael Bay effect of so many colourful explosions, but I don't care. There was no character development. I walked out just going, oh my God, like I would have rather watched, you know, a drama about how he was dealing with the whole creation of building the Death Star, knowing that it was going to be used to, well, having the idea that it was going to be used to wipe out billions, that it was going to shift the power of the galaxy, that the relationship with his daughter, and it was all reduced to just very small flashbacky sort of, this is her motivation ish. It just all the characters just had to do something, which just didn't matter that much.
It was the Dirty Dozen. It was the Dirty Dozen in Star Wars. What you want is fucking...
Yeah, I know what I wanted.
You want a courtroom drama on the Death Star about
I want Star Wars by David E. Kelly.
Yeah, the fucking Star Wars you just described had no laser blasts or explosions in it. It was literally from Casino Royale walking up and down the corridor just contemplating about how bad he is.
My biggest complaint, I mean, that was a side complaint. My biggest complaint for Rogue One was that there was no adventure to it. It lacked the adventure of the original trilogy of movies about this mission of discovery and mystery.
Because the other three are trilogies.
Yes, I know
Rogue
this is a
One
standalone
is a standalone movie.
I know it is. So I didn't get a chance to get invested in any of these characters and most of them were not very likable characters. And so when they met their ends in the film, it was just like, okay, on we go. And I know I'm in the minority here, and I watched it in the theater, and I felt depressed when I walked out because I watched it with like 6 diehard Star Wars nerds that were just painting the cinema, fucking with
fucking Star Wars
with Star Wars spunk, It's like I was on the planet of Hoth, It was just dripping off the fucking ceiling. And so I just walked out like, did I just watch the wrong film? Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, well, no, it's not.
I'm really, like, I'm saying all of this, and I need to watch it again. But I always say this: I hate reviewing a film after a single viewing. I always need to see it twice before I go, "Wow, that totally changed my, my perspective on that film this time around."
Except World War Z.
Well, I actually have watched that a second time, and it wasn't as good as I remembered in the theater. I like the theater experience.
It's totally not good.
The wall of zombies. I got to see a wall of zombies in the film. That's all I wanted to see, and I got that.
Next question.
Anyway, so I say that about what I have said about Rogue One. I will watch it again, and I might change my mind.
And it was awesome.
Beep beep. Lynn Kelly asks, "Are you fans of any sport?"
Wrestling.
Is wrestling a sport, Ian?
Yes, it's been around since the Roman era.
So we are talking the WWF.
We're talking WWE.
Yeah.
We're also talking Ring of Honor. We're also talking New Japan Pro Wrestling, ECW, WCW,
Are you fans of all of these?
NWA. I follow it all through links, through forum pages on the internet, and mainly through my WWE network. I've been a massive fan of wrestling since 6, 7, got into it back in the day with Giant Haystacks and what's his name?
For me, it was the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
British
the American
Bulldog.
ones. Yeah. I got the British ones that took me to the American ones. Then the American ones sent me to Japan, and you follow the wrestlers around Germany. And so when people say, "Oh well, the stuff on TV is not real," it's like, well, neither's Batman. Do you really believe Christian Bale is Batman? Because he's not really. So, Paul Levesque isn't really Triple H and hitting people in the head with sledgehammers, because that would be murder.
Well, yeah.
So, the answer to your question, yes, I'm a fan of sport and it's wrestling.
I'm not a fan of any sport, really. I was like, and I'm a big video game player. I don't really watch Twitch that much.
A sport?
I don't watch any. I've never watched an esport. I guess I like last year I watched 10 minutes of a Gears of War 4 esports competition.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you want to play Gears of War?
I'm just going to go back to playing Gears myself. Maybe not as good as any of these players.
Yeah.
And I don't have some commentator just gibbling all over the place. But, I'm not a fan of any sport. I used to watch football. I used to be a fan of the Arsenal Football Club. I watched a lot of their games. I used to watch England. I haven't watched England play a football game in over 10 years.
It's... I'm not even going to go there. Yeah. Don't get me started on football.
I don't watch rugby, darts... I guess when I was 18 through to 22, I used to watch snooker.
Yeah.
But
I could watch an hour of snooker now.
I was a big fan of wrestling, and I stopped soon after the Attitude Era. Really,
a lot of people did.
Wrestling changed. I changed. at that time of the Attitude Era, I was wrestling in in an amateur circuit with the Plymouth Wrestling Alliance. Which became the Plymouth Wrestling Association, which has
with
now
John
been,
Hardy.
Which with John Hardy, who I think on this channel, right at the beginning of our videos, there is a 2-part documentary where I did a behind the scenes of his wrestling, and ever since then he has gone from strength to strength to strength, and now he has many wrestlers in his school and is very successful. And I was a wrestler with him, and so I was a fan of wrestling, but I put it behind me.
You got no sports in you. So
I guess I play every 6 years or so. I play that iteration's FIFA, and I play it. I'm gonna play it for about 3 seasons worth of content, and then I will not play FIFA for another 6 years. It's weird. It's like a cycle.
Yeah, that's weird. Man.
It is weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's kind of like the fact that, like I said, I used to watch football, so yeah, part of it's still there. Next question's from Neil Land, who says, "Have they done Pet Cemetery?"
Neil Land? No, we have not.
Then why the fuck not, Ian?
Because it's another fucking Stephen King marathon.
Well, it's not really.
Well, no, it's about an hour and a half. That movie, and
it is one of my favourites as well.
The demand for it was out there a lot more.
Yes.
Well, actually, we did The Mist first.
True.
We did The Mist first, and
we also did Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, Maximum
that was our first
Overdrive.
King review.
Yes. See, and it's like what we were saying earlier about films. We could do a Stephen King themed month easily, but you've got to come at it from a certain angle. Maximum Overdrive, it's just off the wall.
It's insane.
It's just
it was
insane.
A cocaine fueled.
Yeah, the Mist.
I still love it.
Mist, still love the ending. Oh, heartbreaking.
Still, yeah.
Going into say Pet Sematary.
I love the book Pet Sematary, and I do remember the movie. Doesn't go into all of the details.
Good.
Yeah.
Because that movie is fucking...
It's dark, as it is.
Dark. Now that I'm a father and I've seen Pet Sematary, woe betide if
any lorry drivers on the main road.
Man,
and that kite.
Yeah.
I still remember what the child was called. Gabe. Oh, I just remember. Oh. And also, it's got one of my absolute favourite, if not my absolute favourite film line ever.
Yeah.
Sometimes dead is better. I just love it. It's just so creepy and horrible and so true.
Oh God,
for that film.
Nightmares for that film.
Yeah. I had nightmares. It was the sister who had that horrible disease in the bed, and just the nightmarish imagery of her leaning over, and she looked skeletal in the bed. I don't remember the sister in the movie. It didn't horrify you as much as it did me. It scared the crap out of me reading that in the book. Just horrible experience. And so, yes, we should get to Pet Sematary.
Was there a Pet Sematary 2?
There was, and I think it has, what's he called? The Terminator 2 actor. I've forgotten his name.
Robert Patrick.
No, the
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, the other one. The one who became the Crow in Crow 4.
Oh, Edward Furlong.
Edward Furlong, yes. Edward Furlong, I believe, was in Pet Sematary 2. I actually had that film. I rented it from Blockbuster and never watched it, and then actually took it back with a late fee. And I never watched it.
Oh my God.
So
we're going to review that film.
We will find. Yeah, we might do Pet Sematary 1 and 2. Okay, so The Ballroom 1976 said, "Really enjoyed the podcast, lads."
The Ballroom?
The Boru.
Oh, The Boru.
I think that's right. Boru.
Hi, Boru.
He said it's a format which suits your style and a great addition to the channel.
Okay.
How about a Star Trek movie series podcast in the future? Keep up the great work.
Oh, Star Trek.
Now,
I'm a Trekkie.
I'm wearing a Star Trek t-shirt still.
You're wearing a Star Trek t-shirt still. He's been wearing it for 3 weeks. It's smelling right now. It's coming across.
Ever since I saw Star Trek Beyond, I just...
Yeah,
sold.
Yeah, I know, and
because I was so gutted and pissed off even after Star Trek Into Darkness, I was like, no, it's
we're going to do this now. Well, Star Trek Into Darkness is not the worst Star Trek movie.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Right, we're not doing this now.
Nemesis. You started it.
Okay, yeah, no, Nemesis is pretty fucking bad.
Nemesis is pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
Fucking Insurrection is a close contender.
That's the one that Insurrection
where they grow. That one there
feels the most like a TNG episode.
It gets really confusing. I don't understand why there's two datas. Is the
lore?
The other one is lore.
Yeah,
it is lore.
But lore's not in Insurrection. He's in Nemesis.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Nemesis. Yeah, that's why Nemesis is really bad.
Yeah. So we've discussed doing all of the Star Trek movies, and there's what now 13 of them.
Oh.
Yeah, 13 Star Trek movies.
Okay.
Which would be like a 2 to 3 month event, unless we did one of those where we reviewed all of them within a short space of time. It would be a very big.
We'd be travelling at warp speed to do that.
Yeah.
I'm checking that in there.
Now,
warp speed to do that.
We could dot a Star Trek, because we thought about doing this, like, we've got all those other films we've done. RoboCop 1, Terminator 1, Mad Max 1. There's all these other sequels that we could do, and we've just, like, we've done the main ones. We know you want us to review Highlander 2. And it's like, so we decided that with film franchises like that, for actual review sakes, we will do one of them. And then we'll break before coming back to them.
Yes.
But the question is about in a podcast format. And we might never get to the Star Trek movie reviews because there are so many films to review that we want to do, that you request us to do. So the idea of a Star Trek movie podcast as a segment is not out of the question at all.
No, but I would like to at least watch and review.
Watch them all before that segment of the podcast.
No, I'd watch them all anyway for the podcast.
Okay.
But I'd like to watch and review at least one for the channel.
Now,
and it would be Wrath of Khan.
You want to start off because every other one of the movies we've always done the original first.
I know.
Would you break the mold for that?
I would if we were doing it in a podcast form because
in a review format.
Star Trek motion picture as a review is.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm not going to lie. As a Star Trek fan, I use Star Trek the motion picture to fall asleep to.
I know you honestly do that. That is really what you do.
That's what I do. If it's late at night and I need to go to sleep and there's nothing else on, Star Trek the motion picture. Why? Because the first hour, nothing happens until they really get to V'Ger.
It's like a 3-minute panning shot of the Enterprise in the dry dock.
It's beautiful, don't get me wrong. The acting,
the spectacle, the music.
Everything is really, really good. But I sit back, I get relaxed, and after about half an hour, I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Or I'll wake up and Spock is there on the jetpack. Getting ready to go inside the mind meld. And I'm like, whoa, where? I missed that whole fucking segment. Wow, how did I? That's You can't do that with Wrath of Khan. Wrath of Khan just chucks you right in, Search for Spark, all the way through 4, 5, 6. Next Generation. Fuck trying to go to sleep through the Next Generation episode. Patrick Stewart does
too busy getting angry and shooting stuff.
Yeah, and then you got obviously Chris Pine's movies, and they're just like a mixture of both of them, where it's just like.
I tell you, I am excited about Star Trek Discovery, the TV series that's coming along soon.
Yeah. We could podcast the TV series.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll
making our way through the TV
series. I think it's very possible that we will just have a Star Trek themed podcast where we will discuss best. We'll have the best Star Trek captains, shows, episodes, films.
I gotta check this in now because doing this right now. I watched a couple of days ago Star Trek: The Next Generation on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
And the episode was where the Reliant keeps coming out of the time warp and smashing into the nacelles on the side of the Enterprise, and the Enterprise explodes. And then they time warp back. Excellent episode.
Any episode in Star Trek revolving time travel is going to be a good one. And explosions, yes, yeah. I always liked episodes where the Enterprise explodes and then they get caught in a time loop and
that's the
they
one
have to prevent it.
That's the one that keeps.
There's another episode where there's like 1,000 Enterprises turn up.
That's
and
the
different
episode,
captains on it, and there's one with a Riker and the ship's about to explode. And
yeah,
I love those episodes. Those are great. Okay, next question. Badger Forever.
Badger, hello.
Says, nice job, but I'd rather watch two of you talking, like in movie reviews, than a frozen picture of Gremlins. Well, it's not a frozen picture of Gremlins this week.
No.
As you can see right now, it's just going to be a still image. Well, the main reason is because we don't really have the setup to record.
Yeah, we don't. And you're scared to be on camera that much.
Yes, yeah.
See, now, I'm beautiful. I'm not camera shy.
Right, so we'll just have the camera on you, Ian.
The camera could be on me all the time, but you have to get used to when you're in natural form, natural things happen. After a while, I might start scratching myself somewhere, or playing with my ear, or just dwindling off while Gary's going on and gushing over some artsy film that he's been watching and TV series.
The pressure is off when there's no camera on us.
Yes, when it's like this, people don't need to watch you. Yes. And we get so many comments as well saying, why can't you do a podcast? Because when I'm at work or
we want an audio thing.
I just want an audio thing, not just to see you guys. And yeah, we could break it down, but editing, rendering out, it all becomes technical then of trying to get everything syncing up for God knows how long a podcast could be for.
Yeah.
So if we can, we might just, some point down the line when we've got the good technology, just sit there with the camera on us, doing our thing.
Well,
but then we might switch back because fuck it, it's all the way over there. I can't be bothered to hook it up, and
I don't want to brush my hair, and I don't want to have a shave, and I don't want to put on a clean t-shirt. You gotta be presentable.
Yeah.
You gotta be presentable for and remain presentable after several hours. I understand that video form podcasts are a big thing, and it happened for a few years. It almost makes us feel outdated that we've only now just started a podcast here.
I'm retro. I don't care.
So. I also don't know whether I would be under the pressure, I believe, to start putting up all the film clips and all the posters and all the trailers that we're talking about. Yeah. And I'm just like, no, it's just a video form. And so I don't know. I think what I said to you, Ian, was what I would like to do is, as I'm trying to save the money from Patreon donations that we get from the channel, to buy a new camera,
yes,
a second microphone,
yes,
and a computer, another editing, a computer that would be used just for editing the reviews.
Yeah,
because we don't have enough gear.
We've never had enough.
Well,
we
haven't, but we have worked with what we've got, but the donations are still coming in, and it's getting stronger. Ian.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put that money aside to give us an upgrade, to give us a presentation overhaul.
You're not going to tell them the camp number, are you?
No, I'm not, because I don't know what that number is. Because, because over time the prices of cameras drop, but 4K is going to be the next thing.
Yeah.
If we are going to be within competition with other YouTube reviewers per se, they are starting to record in 4K. Their reviews are going to be in 4K.
Yeah,
I know.
Who owns a 4K TV?
I don't know anyone who does.
I don't know anybody.
But I'd like to get to the stage where I can edit with 4K instead of having my laptop struggle with a 1080p video. I
know.
So guys, we are looking at getting better cameras, better lighting, better microphones, so that we don't have lip sync issue problems. We want to get a better computer that's more reliable, and then I promise you, when we get to that stage, we will have video form podcasts.
Oh, he's thrown it out there.
I'm throwing it out there, but it's a way off, Yeah. So
we're working at it. That's the answer. We're working at it.
So next question is from Benito Ridio.
Hello, Benito.
Have you guys ever considered reviewing the Sherlock BBC series? I would love to hear your guys' opinions on it. By the way, just found this channel. Love it. New subscriber.
I'm probably going to get shouted at for this, but I don't want to watch Sherlock Holmes. BBC.
Why not? We're talking the Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan. I really
where?
am. From
the book?
From everything. I read the book. I read a few of the books when I was a kid. First book I read from Sherlock Holmes was The Hound of the Baskervilles. I love the TV adaptations they've done, the movies that they've done. And then, I don't know, I don't know what it is. There's just something about Sherlock Holmes now where, like the Robert Downey Jr. movies, I'm kind of really not interested in watching. The TV series with Benedict Cumberbatch, I know it's amazing, it's Benedict Cumberbatch, but I'm just like, meh.
I literally today just started season 4 of Sherlock.
Yeah.
Now, when the series started, I watched the first season through, and by the time the last episode or the third episode, I think there was like 3 episodes a season. I watched the first 2, and I never watched the third one. I never watched it. I was just like, I've seen enough. I took it, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
My housemates were like, "Are you fucking crazy? Like, watch it! Like, Moriarty is like, you're gonna watch it."
Yeah.
And I still went, no.
Yeah.
And the question came in on the podcast, and then I totally forgot about it. And then I was sat here, I was looking through, I'd finished watching Goliath, and I was flimming through Amazon, and I was like, oh look, there's Sherlock. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And I went to watch season 2, and it was like, oh, you have to buy these episodes individually. So I was like, well, fuck you. You know, I'm not paying to watch Sherlock. So I was like, oh, well, season 3's there. So it let me watch season 3.
Okay.
So I kind of skipped the last episode of season 1, skipped all of season 2, got the recap of what happened in season 2, and I watched season 3 through in a single sitting. That was like 6 hours of Sherlock straight.
Nice.
That was yesterday.
Okay.
I've now just watched the first hour and a half of season 4, and I'm going to watch the rest of it later. I can't wait. Loved it.
Awesome. Everybody should go watch Sherlock. I'll be over here.
I didn't expect to like it. You know, I'm a big fan of Robert Downey Jr. and I hated that film. I think it was
really. Is it that bad?
I hated that one. I never even watched its sequel. I just didn't do it.
I saying that though, do you know what one of my most enjoyable films is?
Go on.
Young Sherlock Holmes. Have you never seen it?
I don't think so.
Young Sherlock Holmes. It's a 1984-85 British movie where young Sherlock Holmes goes to a boarding school and meets up with a young Watson, and there's a weird murders are happening around them, so obviously Sherlock and Watson go to investigate it. I love that. I'd watch that over the series.
Whenever I'm watching this new series, which I think is brilliant, I really love how they've modernised it and brought it to the present day.
Yeah.
I think it really works.
That wouldn't work if it was modern day and he was still like 18th century.
The thing is, the most Sherlock I ever got before was from Star Trek, watching Picard and Data in the holodeck.
You were back to Star Trek.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, we have to.
I was a fan of Star Trek. I saw all those episodes.
But doesn't it kind of, get a bit samey? He's Sherlock Holmes. He's super smart.
Yeah.
He's going to work it out by episode 5.
The films are as good as his villains and as good as the mysteries he's trying to solve.
Okay.
So, well, and they're very good.
Who's better, Benedict Cumberbatch or Martin Freeman? As they're acting on screen.
You need them both. I'm afraid you can't have one without the other. You need them both. It's the duality of it.
Who would you rather follow for one episode?
It has to be Sherlock. Okay. He is the most interesting character.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so Grandmaster Gav 86 says, love to see you review The Untold Story 1992 or Visitor Q 1999. Two unconventional films.
Is it Master?
It's Takeshi Miike and Herman Yao.
Grandmaster. Grandmaster Gav.
Yes.
Yeah, Visitor Q. I've wikied that. That's a dodgy film.
I'm going to be honest here, Ian, and say I've not seen either movie. Yeah. I know of them.
Right, okay. You liked Audition, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That was a film I'd never seen as well.
You'll fucking love Visitor Q. Oh my god, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not. That's what I'm
there is a film that I really want to. Is it the Devil You Know? The Devil.
Korean horror
movie. Yeah, that was one of the ones that blew my mind in terms of pushing the envelope to what they were doing in those movies.
This is totally not supposed to sound racist, but those crazy Asians know how to make horror.
They really do, and we've been imitating and remaking really them ever since.
Yeah, we no. The scariness they can do without showing blood and guts.
Mm.
And then when they show blood and guts, it's really well done. I've always loved Pulse.
Yes,
the Japanese movie. Oh my god, you didn't have to show me blood and guts. Those people moving just freaked me out. Obviously, everybody knows my views on Audition, but you can't like them all, can you?
You can't. No, that is true. And well, in response, though, we are definitely going to look at some more unconventional films.
Yes.
It is something that we love to do because they are surprises for us. And sometimes we go, we and Ian will go, we're going to choose this film that neither of us have seen. We've never seen the trailer for it, but the synopsis for it is so ridiculous that we're going to watch it. And we end up with films like Cherry 2000 in the lineup.
Or Mysterious Skin.
Or Mysterious Skin on the other realm of tough films to get through.
Yeah.
So, we're definitely going to be picking more throughout the year.
Yeah.
The Callmaster 98 says, I do have 2 questions for you guys.
Hi, Callmaster.
And these are the last questions of the podcast.
Okay.
And he wants to know, how did you meet? And how long have you been friends? I could ask you guys hundreds of questions, but I don't want to bombard you both.
Nice. That's polite.
So, Ian.
Oh, I forget.
What?
It's been a long time, Gary.
It has been a long time. I actually had to work it out myself, Ian.
Yeah? How long was it?
We met 17 years ago.
Wow.
It was the year 2000 that I met you.
Wow.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
If you convert that to days, that's how many days it takes to travel to LV426.
Probably.
Yeah, 17 days. 17 years. Wow, yeah. We met in a club on the Barbican, which is in Plymouth.
That's right.
In Devon.
It was the Key Club.
The Key Club. And it was a rock night. The rock nights were obviously we're big rock fans. Well, we were big rock fans back in the day.
I still love my rock and roll. Yeah. I still listen to Disturbed and Korn.
Yeah, back then you loved your black spiked platform boots and your tight black leather trousers.
Damn it, Ian, don't tell everyone
your long
my dress
black
sense.
velvet coat. This man was one hard rocking amigo. He'd walk into a room, push past everybody in his way, go to the bar, grab a shot of whatever they've got,
Jack Daniels,
slam it back, and just grab the nearest girl, pull her back. Actually, the word not. Is it The World's End with Simon Pegg?
Yeah.
Okay, Simon Pegg's younger version. That's Gary Nichols.
Oh, no.
17 years ago.
It's partially true.
and we met in the Key Club, and I think
because you were friends of.
We had friends within friends,
yeah.
And then somebody had said, "Oh yeah, hey, this is Gary, this is Ian." We're like, yeah. And we started talking about films.
Yeah.
I think it was Evil Dead.
Yeah,
that we first started talking about.
And we ran the gambit that night of talking about the Evil Dead films, the George A. Romero trilogy.
Yes.
The
Alien movies.
The Alien movies. As soon as we got to the Alien Terminators, the Halloween's, John Carpenter's.
Yeah.
That was it. We ignored
everyone
else.
Everybody else. They were like, "You coming to dance?" We're like, "Yeah, we'll be up there in a minute."
Yeah.
Here's
my money. Go get us drinks.
Yeah, we're gonna get more drinks. Oh yeah. So you love Dawn of the Dead? Oh, that bit with the melon and So like a whole evening just went completely past. Everything else after that is kind of fuzzy.
Very much so. It was. We kind of knew we were friends before we were friends.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, I'm talking to this weird guy about films, but then it was like, he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah. And then we ended up obviously moving in together with 3 other guys. We all shared this massive house. That was a party experience.
That was the year of, I call that the year of hell. It was, we were there, we lived in that house. We didn't even make it the whole 12 months.
No, it was about 7 months.
I think it was about 9 months before the last person moved out of the house.
That was me. I was the last person.
We destroyed that house
because we partied like
we had all just turned 18, 19.
Yeah, we had money.
We were taking drugs, drinking excessively. We had a party every weekend to the point where people wouldn't be coming around and knocking on the door. They would come over, lift up the window and climb right in through the front room window because we didn't lock it. We were just come in.
Just come in.
It was a crazy year.
We played a lot of Time Splitters 2 then as well.
Time Splitters 2 was the game I think we bonded over the most.
Yeah, we played through that whole entire game on the hardest setting.
With split screen,
getting angry at each other because you'd just been fucking spotted and killed again. What the fuck?
Set off that fucking
set off
turret.
The alarm, and then... Yeah, and then we kind of went our separate ways. You moved in one place, I moved into another, but we were still in contact. We'd still meet up every weekend.
I remember. I'm gonna say this. I moved out because I got a girlfriend.
And you're bringing up the girlfriend.
Girlfriend, yeah. And no names. and you came round and visited all the time.
Yeah, because you lived really... no, you first lived quite far away.
I'll admit this. You drove my girlfriend nuts. Because I kept saying, she'd be like, what are we doing this evening? I'm like, Ian's coming round. Sorry.
But the funny thing is, it was at the time as well, there wasn't mobile phones.
No, that's true.
We had mobiles, but we didn't have any credit to put them on.
Yes.
Because we were too busy paying for rent.
I remember at that time, I had a
stuff.
landline.
Yes. Yeah, and I had a phone box just down from my flat, so it'd be...
You'd have to go out to the phone box.
Ring, Gary's alright to come over. Yeah, okay. And then I'd head over. And, yeah, I noticed then that it was more about films.
Yes.
Than anything else. We were always talking
whenever
about
a new release
films.
came out.
That's it. And people never understood that. It started on the very first night we met. We were talking and people obviously were getting annoyed with us. Then, yes, your no-name girlfriend would get annoyed. She would sit through some of the best movies and not enjoy them. I'm going to say not enjoy them because I'm protecting myself. And then we moved. Then you moved into the place where I was staying because we had a spare room in that flat, and it was the same again. It was all about films, and people were saying at that time, "You guys should record this."
Yeah,
you should record it. And we didn't have any of the equipment. We didn't know how to really approach it. It was kind of the birth of the internet, but PCs were not as good as they are now.
True.
Internet bandwidth was a myth.
Yeah, this was before YouTube as well.
Yeah. So we were just constantly talking about it, and then obviously I met my wife. And moved out. But as soon as I met her and we were talking, I said to her, "Look, my friends and my family, and because I remember you were worried at that point that I was going to stop coming over."
Yeah, marriage changes people. Ian.
Marriage changes people, Ian. And you're not going to be coming over. And I'm like, fuck you, man. Of course I'm still going to be coming over. Make me a cup of tea. We're going to watch this film, And then we got the cameras out and people started to get slightly involved then.
Yeah.
But they couldn't keep up with us.
Yeah.
In
a way, well, I hate to say, but we kind of... We said this before when we have guests in, we kind of dominate the conversation when we start talking about films.
You are a dominator.
Crowd, Ian.
Yeah, getting guests in, they have their own opinion, and I like listening to them.
Yeah, it's what we do when we're naturally discussing films with other people.
Yeah,
but it's when the camera comes on, or we're incredibly hyped or frustrated with a film, we do kind of just dominate that conversation until somebody else gets the conversation away from us, off of movies to something else.
Yeah, and I think it's because you kind of tolerate me. Because if I'm being honest, when we get into conversations with other people about films, when I disagree with somebody else's opinion, I can really upset people.
True. Whereas I know I can get into a complete argument with you over any film, and then we can just go, yeah, right.
Yeah.
We'll just go have a coffee now and talk about something else.
Somebody else will put a contract out on me and be like, "You're so dead, Ian," and I'm like, "Why? Just because I like that film and you didn't doesn't mean you should hate me." I saw the feedback. I saw the feedback for this for Batman versus Superman.
Oh yeah.
The feedback for that. I don't care. I liked Batman versus Superman. So sue me.
Okay, well, that's going to bring us to the end of the second podcast. I just want to say thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back with a new podcast in March.
Yep.
We don't know what the theme of it's going to be yet, but of course we will be coming back at you with the latest film news, video game news and trailers, and answering your questions. So if you've got more questions, leave them in the comments section below. Of course, film reviews on Thursdays, game reviews on Fridays. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Patreon. Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time.
Peace out.